Right, welcome guys, welcome. We're going to be playing Worldly Wednesday yet again with Distant Worlds 2 at the moment, playing as the Wekkarus versus the all the different bug factions. Hi Zaradin, how you going? And hi to anybody else that's joined us as well. So yeah, I was going to play something else, but then I forgot it was actually Worldly Wednesday. So I thought, no, we've got to play Distant Worlds because we're sort of in a interesting position at the moment with the current game. If we just go into the load of the game, yeah, so we've got the Wekkarus noble houses. Now, what happened here is I did play about 5 years in the game on the Slytherin channel last week. So sort of going to pick up from there. Hi Mike G, how you going? Hope everyone is doing well. Anyway, let's continue on. We'll just go and load this one in. And I'll just grab myself a drink of water. I'll be right back. So I've only just woken up, so I'm going to be a little bit groggy for a little while. So hopefully we don't have any hard decisions for about half an hour. That'll be okay. Hi Sabosco, how are you going? And I hope everyone is doing well. So again, what a great game this is. And recent reviews of this game are just getting better and better and better, which is great to see. Finally, it's finally sort of getting up to the sort of like that sort of classic sort of scoring that we see on Steam now that this game richly deserves. A great game. Hi Klingsock, how are you going? So good morning. Tea and coffee time. Yeah, well, I drink coffee during the like in the morning, like mid morning, when I'm starting to feel a bit tired. So I have one coffee usually. So Major 50 saying hi, and Steve is saying hello from Florida. There we are. So Florida is. I'm just trying to think of what time that is for you guys. That's morning, is it? That's. I'm just trying to think. It's usually. I think I'm just looking at my clock in here. I think that the West Coast is 8 a.m. now, and the East Coast will be what 11 a.m. 11:30. Yeah, 11:30. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm sort of just. It's funny how you. I know the European time pretty well, and I know the American time a little bit. Like I know the West Coast pretty easily because it's just. It's 7 hours different from where I am, but a whole day away. A whole day. It's actually Thursday for me, so it's sort of. There we go. So I see Steve saying 10:30 there. Right. Sabosco saying 11:30. Yeah, almost noon Eastern US. There we are. And Incognito saying the Dazonator is on. All right, so let's get into it and sort of see how we are. So we've got the. I don't know if I said hi to Major Swifty there before, but if I didn't, hello, and if I did, well, hello again. So Major Switchy saying what? There's a part of Florida in Central Standard Time or Central Summertime, is it? You guys in summertime already? Yeah, that's right, you are. BST has kicked in as well because I have a lot of my timings are done with GMT, but GMT only works when BST is not kicked in. So Fistfire is in saying nice. A Distant Worlds 2 stream, yes. So I'll do a bit of a summary as to where we are. Oh, here we go. So we've got Mikhailovo saying hello from the Czech Republic. There we are. So and Major Switchy saying no shit, never even realised that. What was that one? Oh, in the Panhandle. So we're Central Time. Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it would all be just one time zone. We have a fairly wide state where I live, in Queensland, and we're just all one time zone, even though part of it is sort of, could certainly be a whole other time zone away. Hi from Ireland, says Leo Gaming. There we are. We've got a global audience. We're sort of from all over the place. Hi Began, how you going? Yep, it's +1 in the UK at the moment. So yeah, it's sort of funny because so much of the talk, people just put GMT on the back end of it, assuming that's British time. But it's BST if you're using British time. I've always got whenever I've got like a developer that I'm talking to in Europe, and I've got to do something by a certain time, I've got to 100% make sure. In fact, I use this little app called I think it's called World Time Buddy. Like it's a website. I love it. It's so good. I'll even show you. It's so damn good. It's just a website, but you can log in, and so if I'm doing anything for any developer, I just go into my bookmarks, and it's time converter and world clock. Yeah, this one here. So just have all of my different standard, because so many of the developers actually use these different standard things. So I can just go to any old day and pick it up. So it's like 1:30 a.m. for me now, and I can then sort of see the times. Anyway, there it is there. So yeah, Pacific and Eastern. I get actually it's funny. There's surprisingly a lot of developers that are central. Actually, so it's not PST yet. It's only PDT at the moment. Or am I in the wrong day? No, I'm in the right day. So yeah, so it's PDT, not PST. CDT. I'm guessing if I added it in there. Anyway, let's continue on. So I did open this one up. I was just seeing if there's any specials before I started, but there's not. Unfortunately, the specials are over at the moment. Actually, you've still got the Humble Bundle special. Hi, Sev. How you going? So Saboska's saying it's 1 a.m. for you, and you're awake. Yeah, look, I wake up usually about an hour before now. I usually wake up about 12:30, and I try to go back to sleep. Ideally, I like to sleep till 2 a.m., and so in about half an hour's time is when I like to wake up usually, and I've done that for decades basically. But I wake up just wide awake, and unfortunately, which is not good. So we've sort of been. My wife sort of is subtly finding YouTube videos about how dangerous it is not to sleep properly. So I've been sort of watching them, and I'm sort of taking it on board, taking it to heart. So anyway, that's sort of where we are. Leo Gaming saying, can I ask you about Dwarf Fortress? Is the fortress from the Evil Biome tutorial going any further? The last one I saw was about the tombs, 4th video. Now, if it was called tutorial, no. If you're here for Fortress Fridays, we are in an evil biome, but we did restart. So we don't have any tombs built in the current one. So that will be coming in 2 days' time. So I'll be sort of live streaming that again. So it won't be. It's still an ask questions and do whatever you like. If you've got any questions about the game, I do sort of answer those. And similarly with this one here, if there's anything about this game that you want to see, just please sing out, and I will show you. I'll show you if I can anyway. Mike's saying people from America and Europe, basically everywhere other than Australia, due to Dan's choice of streaming time. Yeah. Sort of. I do get. It's funny because sometimes I do stream in my normal morning hours, like tomorrow, for example, I may find some hours during the day to do some streaming. I'm not sure yet. I think I may or may not do that, but it's sort of funny. That's when I get all the Australian audience. So it's sort of it's interesting. I do have a fair few Australians that watch, but this is too early for most of them, of course. So they often are just watching the replays. So welcome if you're watching a replay and you're from I guess if you're from the time zones that we're in, like New Zealand, Australia, most of Eastern Asia. Anyway, it's good fun. It still blows me away just how the internet has changed the world into sort of like this very small village, which I really quite like. Okay, so Incognito is saying, I don't know if others know this, but the Steam overlay change sometimes some time back added a note section for each game that syncs into cloud, and if you want it, you can pin it. So useful for making reminders when you're in a gaming session. Oh, okay. I'll probably forget about that before I end. I mean, there was the other, like a few days ago, we were talking about what was it called, limitless scaling or something like that, which I did look into it briefly, but I still want to know what the benefit is, and I'm still not really understanding that one from there. Steve was saying, "Wow, Daz, you're an international star." Yeah. Yeah, so Sarah saying looks out the window and sees Daz stream from across the street. It's sort of funny because it's always dark when I'm up, like when I get up, So it's sort of if my wife leaves anything in the way out, like in the passage or anything like that, I'll end up sort of tripping over it. There was a time when she left something on the stairs outside because I've got to go outside and then go down the stairs, and luckily I saw it because I would have tumbled down the stairs. Anyway, it's just the way it goes. So where do we get to? Major Swifty saying, "Damn, that's useful." It's a nice little app, and like if you log in, you can then sort of save your settings. So I just save those standard things, and I can just go have a quick look whenever a developer is, or if we're trying to organise a podcast, that's typically where you've got people from all over the world trying to sort of figure out a time that's going to suit, and so that little app's really quite good for that one. Mike G is saying people from America and Europe, basically everywhere other than Australia. Yep, we've got that one there. Leo saying, yeah, we did that one through there. And Buenos Dias from Poland, from Perfection. So, yeah, well, there we go. It's funny, I was watching a video yesterday, actually. I'm looking, this is a bit off beam. Well, not really off beam, but I'm really looking forward to the Rajas and I forget what it's called, the Rajas update for the DLC coming for Field of Glory Kingdoms. And because I'm interested in looking at Prussia, which is just a tribal state in that game, and I was looking at the history of it on a YouTube video, and I didn't realise that actually that Prussia was really originally a big part of Poland, and that really it wasn't even connected even closely. It was sort of more Poland, and also up into Lithuania and to those sort of Baltic states more so than Germany. And it took many really late into the Middle Ages before it's actually sort of took the top part of Poland. It was it was a bit of an eye opener to be honest. That it actually was so far away from Germany. I just assumed it was one of the German states, but it actually isn't. It was a Polish territory. Anyway, let's continue on. So it's funny because I did mean to go and have a look at the. A long story, says Perfection. Yeah, I meant to have a look to see if how it's modelled in Field of Glory Kingdoms, because I think it's actually in the correct position for as in historically with the 1050 start. And so anyway, that's off. We're sort of off beam. Let's get into the game and just sort of go to sort of cover what we're doing here. So you can see that we're at war. Our war weariness is kicking in through here. I thought that the war was just about to be over. We've destroyed 2 military ships of theirs. They've destroyed 5 bases and 1 military ship. So we've got so we do actually have a bit of a problem. I'll see if I can just go back through the most recent messages. Accept treaty. That was the bandits, so that's only pirates. Under attack. The fearless battle is under attack by Gravelix. So that's probably not going to be something that we have to worry too much about. Independent colony of Securans encountered. Okay, so this is going back to the previous year. So I don't think we need to be back in here. So let's just go through what's going on. So we're at war at the moment, and I've completely forgotten what we're doing, to be honest. I felt that we got ourselves into a reasonable position here at the end of what we were doing, but I really can't be sure. So let's just see what we've got. So we are playing as the Wekkarus. In fact, let's just go across to the Wekkarus noble houses. You can see through there. Our cash on hand is okay, but our cash flow is actually dangerously bad. So usually when it gets over around about 4,000 or 5,000 into the negative, the bonus income really won't be able to support it all that much. You can see there the previous year's bonus income was fairly high, but whether like we're nearly halfway through the year, we've only made 700. So that cash flow I think will bite pretty hard. Private cash is actually okay, so that's okay where that is. In terms of policy and automation, I'm just going to leave that until we sort of come across issues. So I've got that pretty much to default, but then I've just made a few different things. So we're saying Worldly Wednesday, nice. I love a good alien alliteration. Alliteration, yeah, sorry. I thought when I glanced at it, I saw alienization, which I thought, oh, that's clever. I've only just woken up, guys. I've only just woken up. So an alliteration, yeah, I like them too. Maybe Warlock Wednesday in the future. Well, if they make a Warlock 3, that would be good. I'd love that. Yeah, it was one of those things where it was going to be Distant Worlds Wednesdays, and then I thought, no, I should actually broaden it out so I can play other games as well. So Worldly Wednesdays is where we play space games, and just Distant Worlds at the moment. You're going to do any Armour Brigade 2 tutorials? Hi, Drexy. Yeah, probably Well, I'll be doing more playthroughs. I really enjoyed yesterday's playthrough, to be honest. So, that was, yeah, it's such a good game. I almost played it again today, but I thought, no, I've got to try to stagger things, because I think that's where it kills my channel. Is I end up playing too much of one game in a row, and I know I do that with Age of Wonders as well. So I probably need to find an excuse to play Age of Wonders once a week. Yeah, I'll have to sort of think of different ways of sort of spreading these things out a little bit. Being and saying, I should have said good morning. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's funny because I get so used to it, like everyone, it being the early evening for Europe. It sort of feels like that when I'm streaming. Okay. Anyway, let's continue on. That's the who we are. So we're the Wekkarus. Diplomacy. If we have a look through here, we are starting to now find other non-bug factions, but we have got like a lot of bug factions that we're actually going in with now. With the Boscara Overmind Ascendancy, and I forget what we were going to be doing with this one. Now this one, you can see its reputation is evil. So what's it been doing? Independent colonies invaded. It's got negative 42.3 in through there. War declared during ceasefire, negative 0.6. Unjustified wars, negative 0.1. Creatures destroyed is one of their positives, and treaty signed, 1.3. That was with us from the last war. Now, these are going to be a problem until we can wipe them out. Now, I'm assuming we're going to have to bounce in and out of war with them for quite some time. So I'm thinking until we can actually crush them, so we have to keep on trying to build up to overcome them. What we can see through here is the Empire info. The known population is 11 billion, so it's a lot bigger than we are in terms of population. The population rate is also much higher than ours as well. The known revenue 179k. Okay, that's a lot actually, and their research output 109. That would be an area that I would be hoping to outstrip them. Would be the research. Yeah, so we've got. Are they at war with anyone else? No, they're not. Now, will they be at war with anyone else? And I'm thinking yes, they will. And from memory, what we have is we've got so they're over here. They're a fair way away when we look at this, but there is actually a group in through this other side of it looks like Actarians. And if the Actarians are this close to them, there's a good chance that they'll also end up at war with them. But we haven't actually met the Actarians yet, so they're not actually in our little list in through here. So if we go through, this is the Boscara Overmind Ascendancy. I'll do a bit more of a deep dive into the war when we get there. There is an Artuk cartel back in through here, which we're very, very friendly with. You can see that we've got two different treaties. We've got like a non-aggression pact and also I think it's a military refueling pact. It's I think the blue one that we see through there. In fact, we can just do it and see what we've got. Yeah, military refueling back through that other side, and non-aggression. So that's what the blue and the white is in through that side. Non-aggression pact we have with the Blackstorm Council, which is inside our territory. So they're actually in here. This is a pirate group. So both pirate groups are not paying at all, and they're sort of friendly with us with these two in through here, particularly the Artuks. But we are at war we've sort of got open combat with the Alfred Bandits and the Boscara Security, which the Alfred Bandits are down here. So they're actually in this little area of no man's land, but they're a little way away from us. We haven't really seen them, so I think their ships have been crushed. When the war's all finished, I will then sort of come back and do something with them, but we'll get back to those in just a little while. Back to these. So the Boscara Overmind is a problem. The Ardil military junta back into this other side. We don't know much about them yet. They're back in here, and we don't know where their capital is. So they're sort of extending back out into this region of space. So that's where they are. We may have to change the colour on the map a little bit with some of the different factions if we're wanting to sort of make them stand out a little bit more than what they actually are. Maybe we do that now, actually. I'll keep the Dayuts where they are. We might change the Ikaru. This is I'll just keep on going through all of these. So the Ardil are also going to be fairly close to the Dayuts, so we might just do a bit of a reshuffle of colours. The Dayuts themselves we've been at war with, and they're quite angry with us at negative 26. They're quite big, as you can sort of see. they're sort of they're in through here. Actually, maybe they're not. Maybe they're not. That might be a group that's actually, yeah, this is actually the Wekkarus backing through this other side. So the Dayots we've been at sort of a war with them. They kept on sort of coming back through and sort of encroaching into our space. And we've sort of been able to take hold of different things for now and make do with things. In fact, they did take a planet in here, or they settled a planet in here, but we do actually have, that's just flipped across to us. Now we have to protect it, which is a bit of a pain in the bum. And that's actually why I think the money is so terrible. We'll have a look at that in just a minute. Okay, back to our factions. The Dantanui Anthropod Syndicate. Now, you can see down through here, this is 41 billion that we can sort of see through here. 15 worlds that we know of, and it's got 264 in terms of their research output, as opposed to 109. What are we, just for the sake of the exercise? We're only actually outputting 73, so we're really a long way behind, which is not a massive problem, but it still is a bit of a problem. No, that's all okay. We'll just keep on going back through. So so our research is stagnant at the moment, which is not good. We did lose a mining station, so we're trying to sort of build that one back up. That will kick back up to about 100 or so by the time we sort of get that one doing. So the Dantanui are really rocketing through here. Now, we haven't actually had any combat with them. They're way over here, and so they're actually down in this region, and they have been. We have a bit of a look at them. If they are at war, I think. No, they've just finished off their war. They were at war with the Dayots. So that was, and they're still furious with them. So that war will kick back in again. The Dayots will essentially be wiped out by these guys, and then we'll have to deal with them. So we don't have to really worry about them too much at the moment. Then we've got the Shamali Megacorp Alliance, which is a Tekan group, and they're also where are they? They're over here somewhere, I thought. But sorry, I keep on clicking on the wrong things. Yeah, we don't even know where they are. They may have been wiped out, for all we know. Anyway, and then we've got another Boscara group, which we don't know anything about these either. We found them inside the other Boscara area, so we've come across their ships, but we haven't come across any Actarians yet. The Actarians probably are really the saving grace for us if we can actually make contact with them. So we might even see if we've got I don't think we've got too many of our ships sort of moving out into this area of space, but we might go and visit this world and just see if we can actually make contact with them and start to become more friendly, because they're also they're like us in terms that they are an aquatic faction. So that's sort of where we are. I love how rich and deep the game is, and just how beautifully unbalanced and random it is when you don't know what you're going to get when you start playing. And this is a difficult start, I've got to say. Being surrounded by bugs like this makes it a very, very difficult game. So for saying maybe send spies to get pirate maps, they usually reveal good chunks of otherwise hard to locate majors. Yes. Except that our spies really aren't that great, and so I'm just letting them do their own thing. So I'm sort of like if I send them off, they're just going to get caught. So, and I sort of want them to try to sort of keep hold of the weaponry that we've got, because we start off with good weaponry. So I'll keep the spies on auto, I think. Anyway, that's the diplomacy. So we'll come back into the specifics of this war in a minute. Then we've got the independent colonies. We've only got one that we're aware of. Not going to really worry about it. Alliances, we don't have any. This is actually newish in the game now. You can form an alliance if you're not playing with the Return of the Shakturi story running. You can actually then form your own alliances once you sort of get deep into the game and create like a federation, like a full-on federation. Ambassadors, we've got 3 of them. One's going to 80, ambassador to Boscara Overmind, and one's travelling to... so the different locations that we're aware of, they're moving across. Now, where's 80? If we go and have a look, this is... this one's at Roskiri 1. So where's 80? The Dantanui. Yeah, so they're moving across. He's transferring there. I'll just make him go to manual as well, just so that all of these don't move off from from their locations. So we'll sort of send him out. We need to keep an eye on the what's going to happen with the Gizarians. So they'll sort of keep them going. The spies. We've got 3 spies. We're trying to steal the territory map of the Boscar over mine ascendancy, which we already know that anyway. So it's a bit of a. But if it helps them to get their skill level up, then this one will become even more valuable to us, which would be good. So good success probability through here. Ultimately, what I really want them to be doing is stealing research, and I need the long range scanners. The long range scanners is something that we probably won't get to in this session, but we'll just see how we go. Exploration, we've got, how many exploration ships have we still got? Only 9. That's not good. That is not good. Okay. We need a fair few more. I'll just go and build them straight away, just while we see these sorts of problems. Oops, hang on, we'll just leave that one where that is. Go into our build order, go to exploration ships. I'll just go and grab another 4, just purchase them. So we must have lost some over the course of the game. So I'll just get them built. So they're being built around around our empire now. Mining, we don't actually have any real negatives with what we have. Necros Stone, we don't actually control any resources, but we're aware of a lot. It's pretty healthy what we actually have here now in terms of what we're doing. We're even importing from other locations as well, which is now good. So everything is looking fairly healthy, which is great. The ship designs, until we get the next big planetary governance is coming in 1 and a bit years, and then we're going to shielding. So once we get shielding, we'll sort of then redesign our ships. So we won't worry about doing those just yet. Research, yeah, we've had a quick look at those. We do actually have new research locations. This one here we're trying to build, and construction ship is already building research stations at a few other different locations. Fellas 3 was actually destroyed by the Boscarans, so we need to sort of get out there and sort of work our way through there. This is the ships that we have. Let's just go across and have a look at damaged ships. So we've got 3 damaged ships at the moment. This one's going back for repair at Cantrilla 4, which is our sort of second planet, really. It's part of the 5th Attack Force. These in here, no mission, but they're slightly damaged as well. So what I'll do with those, in fact, I'll have a quick look at this. There's a Pulse Escort version 2 and a Pulse Escort version 2. So we can see there the second invasion fleet does need to go off and fix itself up. Because that one's on manuals, the others are on pretty much on auto. So we'll go back through now and have a look at the fleets. So we've got a fair few different fleets. The second invasion fleet, I'll just go and click on this one. This one has been set to run at manual, with what we have. We have a number, like one infantry, 5 armour at the moment. We are building up more infantry, but I've got to be a bit careful. I don't want to have too much of that. But we will just go and tell them to refuel and repair at Rossagiri 1, which is our homeworld. So I'll just go and tell them to go and repair. Then we actually have the various other groups. We do actually have most of them are just set to auto. So as I go through these, I can sort of set them up. Now, the defence forces that we see through here, like the 4th, the 6th, for example, what these are really only good enough to sort of stop raids. They're not, and they may be able to stop an invasion, but they're not fantastic. So 4th Defence is set at Rossagiri. I'll just zoom in a little bit, just so we can sort of see where they are. And so I've got this one set as it's a defence fleet, which is the 8 ships in it, and it also is a defend role. So it's defending this region of space, but we've got no early warning, and this is the trouble. But they're really there to try to protect the homeworld, mainly from invasion. So that's what they're doing at the moment. We also have the 6th Defence Force, and you can see that's the same sort of power in through here. Again, same makeup of 8 ships, and this one's also the home base is Rossagiri 1 spaceport. Now, I'll go through all of them, because what we might do is, now that like some of these we were building earlier on, and I do need to move them off towards the border, some of these, and I need to move one of them across into the Saddlebari system back in through here as well, which is the world that the Dayuts settled, and then it flipped to us. So we do now need to protect it. I'm sort of almost, or I don't, and just let the Boscara come and take it, and then we can bombard it if we wanted to, like just bomb it into the dust, which would then sort of affect what other races think of us, but at least we wouldn't have to deal with it. I could also just abandon the colony and get the Dayots out of there, but I don't want to, like the Dayots. I'm going to have my hands full with the Boscara, with the bad bugs, and the Dayots are not that bad, so we should be able to sort of deal with them. Okay, the 5th Attack Force is coming back in for repairs. We've got an extra sort of we've got one ship there that's taken a bit of damage. And so they're coming in, and then they're set to defend from the Cantrella. Now, Cantrella has been targeted by the Boscara in the past for invasion, and so we're sort of moving that one across to to sort of look after. So we're too heavy down in this area. We're probably going to be needing to move up at least one of these fleets into the Fellas area, and we'll just have a bit of a look and see where that one is. The 1st Attack Force is under manual control, so we're not sort of seeing where it's operating from. And so it's going into refuel at the Aldebar 1 mining station. We assume that this will be under attack fairly soon. So we've got some ships are sort of still further back into here, like a Pulse frigate, for example. But they're all now moving off to refuel at this location. And I've set their home base. Their home base is a planet called June, which June, where is it? It's the... sorry, I'm just going to click on it again. It is June Sigmatico. So Sigmatico actually did name this one. If this one fails, it's actually back in here again. We've got like a small world that's just an outpost, but it does actually provide Zentabia fluid. So we've got Zentabia fluid flowing through. So this is actually very, very important. If you look at this light freighter, for example, this one's carrying Siculus wood and Yapara leaf back to Roskiri 1. There'll be a lot of these little freighters. This one here is doing a tantium opal. This is really quite a nice little system in terms of different things we end up having. Yeah, I'm not sure. We will see some of these will end up having Zentabia fluid, I'm assuming. But we've already got some of it back on our home world. There we go. So there's a 200 Zentabia fluid being moved back to Roskiri. So we're moving this one back, which is going to give us a big boost by actually having control of this. So that is a very, very important planet. So we did actually have a full group out there. The 1st Attack Force was, and even though they're moving out to here, their home base is actually way down on the other side of the Empire. So I'm sort of thinking I don't want to keep these big attack forces out in this region of space where there's no threat from the Boscara. And then we have the 3rd Fleet, which is also now moving out to Sigmatico. So this is also its home base is June Sigmatico. But this one we do actually have the Admiral. Now I'm thinking we're pretty better off switching that around a little bit and keeping my big fleets closer to where the Boscara are going to be coming. I don't know why I'm moving that one out there, but it's actually got a big long range. It's also protecting the other Zentabia world, which is Yaris. I think we just keep with what we've got, and sort of let that one sort of yeah. I think we might move the 3rd Fleet back. I think we'll rearrange these. So at the moment, I've got most of the fleet set on auto, which means that they sort of just do their own thing. I think we'll move this one back to Roskiri, which will then open up a lot of other things. Or we actually move this one across to Fellas. If we move this one out to the Fellas, to any little location here, actually. That's a minor. Yeah, we've completely lost everything we had at this location. Yeah, we've just got mineral miners there. I need an infrastructure to be able to establish like a base. I can't just go and right click and tell it that that's where it has to be. I mean, I can tell it to go there. I will tell it to do there. So I'll move it to Fellas 1 at this stage. So, but I can't make the home base for this planet, so it's this group. So that will then be set to manual. So at the moment, we've got the Aldebar group in through here. Now this was the 3rd, I think. Is it the 3rd? No, that was the third we were looking at before, wasn't it? Yeah, third, it was the first. So they're here refueling at Aldebar. I'll make this their base. This is so that's the mining station there. So the first, and we'll just go and right click and just set the home base. That means that if I put them back to auto, they'll then just do their thing like around that particular base. If you have a look and see 100M, yeah, I'm sort of happy enough with that actually. Let's just leave them there for now because I think there's going to be an attack coming in that way. Now we're also trying to build up even deeper into their territory. When we get this established, which we have now got established, this is another Caslon mine. And maybe we do move the first up, or even the third when the third is ready. Let's just go back through the fleets again. So the first is an attack fleet with a few ships needing to fuel up. The second is just an invasion fleet, which we're moving across, or we're fixing up. The third is moving back out to Fellas, which we will need to protect. The fourth is, and the fifth attack force, repair at Cantrell 4. This, by keeping this one back here, I can sort of protect both these worlds here. I've got the fourth and the sixth essentially that I can make use of. I think what I'll do is I'll move the fourth up to defend this area as well, and then we'll move it further afield. It's just an explorer ship. Let's just move it to here as well. Move to Fellas, and then we'll move it deeper up. We'll probably leave it at Fellas and then move the bigger attack fleet further up to the to Ura. In fact, I'll go back to the third, which was coming to Fellas, and I'll move it to the Ura station and make that its home base. And put that down to defend as its default, and I'll just make it 50M range. So that will then, if I now press with the third fleet, that's now going to sort of operate in that region of space. That gives me one full big fleet ready to be able to go out and do different things. So let's just go and unpause and see what we end up with. We've got the Wekkarus, we've just come across them. So we've finally sort of made contact with their side of things. When the borders become a problem, I'll then change the colours, I think. Hi Tenru, how are you going? And Badman is saying, Daz, as always, murdering bugs. Yeah, we sort of have to. So Zaradin saying, I think my fleet is in the third. Yeah, I think the third has got most of the named ships. Or is it the first? There it is, the Zaradin. That's the only one in there, actually. Yeah, so if anyone does, if you're watching on Twitch and you want to, oh, here we go. Pause. Yeah, so this is coming in. Incoming fleet detected. The 9th Invasion Fleet. Now, we don't have any long-range scanners, but we have got early access, early warning through here. So the 9th is coming back through. We'll have a look and see what this is sort of telling us. It's travelling on an attack vector towards Cantrell 4, which is sort of why we needed to have the things in there. Let's just do a bit of a deep dive into what's going on, how we know that they're doing this, and why we can now be fully prepared for it. So we should immediately send defensive forces to intercept this threat. So we'll just go and dismiss this. Now at Cantrell 4, I ended up building the starport on the opposite side of the planet. This is Cantrell 4 in here. This is our second world, and when I built the starbase on this side, which sort of protects the planet in one way, but it doesn't protect it in other ways. Now we've got 7 garrison troops in through here, and just have a quick look at it through there. We've also got a general which is imprisoned on this world. Again, one of the invading guys, essentially. Or is he there, or is he actually in the spaceport? This is Zandri Zutub. And we have a scientist that we imprisoned as well. So we've got a couple of prisoners in there. Actually, that's the admiral, and the scientists have been dropped off at that area. And then we have a general, which has been imprisoned by us there as well from different things we've actually captured in the past. So we've got a few different prisoners at this particular location. What have we got there? This is a ice rings. This is actually a It's not very strong, but it is, again, a little bit of a base that we can then use to sort of help us. What we have is we do actually have the pulse frigates here from the 5th attack force, which are just moving to Cantrilla 4 is what they're doing. I could go and change that to their home world, to their home base. That will then position them slightly towards the front here. And what we also want to then do is to set the tactics to tight, just so that our groups are sort of fairly close together. And then when the attack comes in, we'll just need to bounce around the outside edge. Now, because we don't have long-range scanners, quite often you don't know that you're going to be attacked until they're literally right here. So luckily, we got a bit of early warning. But we do have enough forces around to be able to make it difficult for them. Now, even if they had have come in, that would have been a little bit tricky for us to protect, but we do actually have a nice big fleet in here waiting for them. So we do actually have the 5th. So that's why I wanted to have at least one fleet doing what it's doing. By setting the home base and by having this set to defend, that will then move to that location and then essentially just automatically defend the location that we actually have. So that will be fine. It will. I've set it so that it will ask me if it finds any other missions in the meantime, but we'll just leave that where that is. So last time we got attacked at Cantrilla 4, we had to scramble and we only just saved it. But this is the second attack going into Cantrilla 4. So they're thinking it's open. Last time we didn't have anywhere near the garrison troops. If I go into the colony automation, I've set my troop recruitment and garrison to manual, just so I can keep a good garrison on the world. This means that when they attack, they're going to have a fair bit, to be honest, to be able to take us on. But the Boscar are very, very strong on the ground. So anyway, that's where we are. So let's just go back through how we know that they're coming. So we can see them over here. And we've only just sort of located where they actually are. So they've actually bounced into this system, and then they're going to come off. If I just go back out and just grab the 4th, they may change their mind before they go. Hang on, let's go back to. Where is it? Why can't I pick that? There's only 4 ships in there at the moment. 9th invasion fleet. There we are. So we've got a bit of information. In fact, they've only got 1 infantry on board, so this is not really making a lot of sense. So I really don't have to worry about this. We can see they've got different troop transports in through there. And then a 1 heavy escort. So it's a bit of a nothing, to be honest. So we don't really need to worry about it. You're saying you don't need to set it to manual to keep the strong garrison now. That was a change made recently. Oh, really? I didn't realise that. Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I will put it back to manual. So I didn't read that. It's a setting though. Okay, let's have a look, because I know of the setting where it won't destroy your troops, but I didn't know there was one about the others. Let's have a quick look, because the automation of the game is really, really rich and deep. So it may be a setting rather than a policy. So I don't know if it's a policy or not. Henry's saying, I finished watching your 1 hour, 25-minute long Empires of the Fading Suns video yesterday. Now I'm enjoying my second run. Symbiotes wrecked my first one. The ships are too overpowered. 10 accuracy and 110 damage is no joke, and I couldn't craft any spaceships yet. Yeah, it takes a long time to craft spaceships. I won't open it up, but like that game at the end there, I ended up with so powerful with spaceships that I found. It was very, very cool. Anyway, I'll continue on. So new build notes are out, and they look fantastic, says Korosami. New build notes. Yeah. Oh, hi, Eric. How are you going? Eric's saying, out of curiosity, are you playing 1.98 or the 13... Oh, hang on. I don't know. Let's have a look. I don't think I knew about the beta. Let's just save where we are. So, because if there is an open beta, I do really quite like them. I'll just go and save. We're less than a month after we started. Anyway, that's okay. At least we know we've got an invasion. I'll talk about how we know about the invasion, but this one's not going to be a problem. That will then open us up to allow us to keep on pushing back to try to get this war score back. But anyway, let's just get out of here. I think I'm still in the 1.2.9.8. Just exit to desktop. So if you're sort of unfamiliar with how to patch the game, basically you just go to your Steam library. Usually the first one will be the what brings it in through here. I've got Distant Worlds 2 and through there. If you go and click on it, or just find it in your list down through this other side. If I go and right click, see how I don't have any open beta next to it? So what I need to do in here is actually then go and change it. So if I go into manage and then go into properties and then go into betas, I then will have the various betas available. So because we had caught up with the base game, the open beta wasn't there, but we now have a 1.3.0.1, which I didn't even realize that we actually had. That will now start to download. It shouldn't take too long usually for Distant Worlds, and hopefully I don't need to restart. But I always like to have the new things. And in fact, while we're here, we'll just go into the store page and have a quick look and see the notes about what this actually does bring. So if ever you want to sort of find out what's going on, Community Hub, as I said before, the game is now very positive in recent times, which is great. The discussions back and through this other side, there we go, public beta. So what do we got in the public beta? So new beta is available. So this crash fixes, fleet improvement, fleet templates, change fleet engagement ranges. So fuel range 50 is now fuel range 40. Fuel range 33 is now fuel range 30. Okay, so that's 30. Okay, cool. So there's a few different things in through there. Cool. That'll be something else we have. It's funny yeah, I'm going in my head. I'm thinking, what are the things that I've been wanting to have changed in the game? And I know one of them is about the trying and harsh planets. I was hoping to get more in there. I don't know if that will be in. Wishful thinking, I guess. Added new unit range details in description of nearby engagement range settings. So that's cool. This is good stuff. This is all quality of life things, which the game has sort of needed, and it's great to see this now coming in. Fixed set fleet roll buttons not working in fleet list. I haven't had that problem. Auto-generated fleets now select better fleet template based on highest available military ship roll. Okay, that's interesting. So we're not doing that. We're doing that one manually. Improved fleet template selection to also consider total number of ship rolls covered, in addition to highest ship roll in the template. So it looks like there's been a lot of fleet improvements, which is awesome. I know that a fair few of you have been asking questions about that. So about whether the fleets work, I've found them good, but I manage them myself. It's good to see that the AI is getting a bit of love in that regard as well. So change automated fleet templates, upgrading to only apply to starting fleet. Now I'm starting to think, these Boscara, they'll get all the benefits of this. So. Here we go. Yeah, so change automatic fleet upgrades. This is good. So that because at the moment I've got to turn off all my fleet automation to manual, but if you override, it overrides. This is good stuff. Fleet policies, add a new Empire policy allowing you to control maximum auto-respond range for manual invasion fleets. By default, these are set to nearby threats, but can be increased by location. Yeah, I'm actually happy with nearby. Nearby is basically the same area like around a major body in the solar system that you're in, which I like that for those, or even tighter. But that's good. It's all good stuff. Fleet ships now exit hyperjump in formation, even when jumping to non-specific target. Okay, this is actually, I don't know if I like that, or it used to be one of those things that was so hard to manage, but I enjoyed the challenge of jumping to a region in space. And but I can see that being positive, because they should keep cohesion even when they go to an area in space. It used to be that if you were trying to intercept an invasion and you went, like for example in the one that we're currently playing, if I moved to that resort base is where I wanted them all targeted, because I didn't want to bounce to the other side of the planet. And because in my head I'm thinking they're going to end up all over the place, whereas now that's been fixed. So that's actually good. It's a good thing, but it's sort of, I guess I was used to playing it the other way now. Now exclude fleet ships that cannot jump. So example, damage hyperdrive when synchronizing fleet jumps or waiting for fleet fighters to board the carriers. This ensures that fleet jumps do not get held up by damaged carriers. This can especially be a problem. Yeah, that's good as well. This is great. Fix the fleet top-up process, sometimes mistakenly removing too many ships when trim excess is enabled. Yeah, I always turn off trim excess anyway. Top-up fleet button. God, there's a lot of stuff in through here. Okay, will now also show ships that will be removed by roll when trim excess is enabled. Okay, the top-up fleet button tooltip. Oh, gee, this is great. This is like I think for me the one area of the game that is that has really sort of been not a problem, but it's sort of like the user experience has it was lagging behind a little bit in the other things that were being developed. So it was a game that if you knew the game and knew the user interface well, it was it is an incredible game. But for new players, I always felt it was a bit of a problem with the user experience just lagging behind, because you needed to know how to do different things to make it sort of work. But this is great. This is really awesome. The fact that the devs are now sort of using the tooltips, and the tooltips were always very, very good anyway. But it's just such a deep and rich game, you know. So this is great that they're focusing on this. So very, very cool, I've got to say. Just go fuel tankers, increased willingness to automate fuel tankers to refuel ships, higher fuel threshold. I know this is another thing that some of you have mentioned in the past, so that looks like that's getting love and attention. Fuel tankers in a fleet now excluded from following fleet override tactics, thus allowing them to behave differently and avoid engaging in battle. I know some of you have mentioned that as well. Okay, so the von Schwanhut's saying, do fleets of fuel tankers now get a symbol in the fleet overview? No, they don't. Well, I'm assuming that no, they don't, because you don't make fleets of fuel tankers. Okay, so yeah, so we're Coruscant saying, yeah, top up fleet will be awesome now. No unexpected extra ships getting built or cut. Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, this is really good. Diplomacy, fixed diplomatic trades and gifts from advisor suggestions not reaching recipient. Fixed sometimes getting duplicate acknowledgement messages after giving. Yeah, that's good as well. Again, like this is all quality of life things. Ensure independent colonies properly display scenery bonuses. That's good. So fix the took Great One event. We're playing as the Wekkarus at the moment. Fix Guzarian rivals. She's not occurring. So that was actually just the one that came out today. I didn't realise that 1300 had come out a week ago. I didn't realise that. So fleet tactics. So it looks like I won't read all of these, but this is again fleets, fleet templates. Oh, this is good stuff. I'm really happy that this is happening, to be honest, because for me, like, because I'm sort of because I do so much live streaming, and I'm often talking with people who aren't really all that familiar with the game, and so it's sort of I can see the frustration, but this is really, really good. So we've got it all downloaded now, so that's actually now ready to roll. So let's open her up. It didn't say that I needed to restart or anything. So it's in the actual what we're doing. Let's go and move that one down. So and open it back up again. Yeah, thanks Eric for the reminder there. So yeah, we'll keep on going in. I just always assume I've got the open beta selected, but I know that at the end of the last one, I was on a I had an early access model version that I could play, and then when it finished, I then went back to the base version to show that like a week or so back, and I forgot to put it back to open beta. So yeah, I'm surprised. I actually thought that, to be honest, that the devs would be taking a bit of a sabbatical just after the release of the DLC, but no, they're still going crazy with the with everything. So we're now in 1.3.0.1. So that feels like it's another major. Well, actually, I guess maybe it's just a standard number, but it feels like it's a big number. Like when you got the 1.3s, so like or the 1.2s, etc., etc. Let's just go and continue our game, and this will be good. All right, so we're seeing things now sort of coming back through there. The preset is on default. I'll just leave that one back where that is. So we are now looking back at the same area of the game that we were looking at before. So what we end up having here is we have the group that's coming through here. We're actually aware of the ships. Now, I don't know why we're aware of these ships, because we don't have any other presence in this area. Unless that just flew over the top of it. That's the only thing I can think of. But no, that's a little way away from when we got that message. So, and I don't think I'd still see it. So this particular pulse frigate has got a short-range sensor array with a scanning power of 100 and a scanning range of 1M. If I go and grab that ship and press the Alt key and go to display distances, that's already 10M. So that we're outside of the range of its sensor. So I'm not sure how we're seeing that one at that location. But anyway, it's not going to matter. So what we can now do, instead of me having to set up the that fleet to go to over to this location, I can now grab, is it the third fleet? First fleet? Fifth fleet? Fifth fleet. There we are. I can grab the fifth fleet, and instead of having the home base there, I can put the home base still back to this one. So I can go back into home base is going to be the Cantriller 4 spaceport. But we can now just go and tell it to go and sit over on this side and wait for the invasion. So let's just go and right click and move to that location. Previously, that'd end up all over the place, but this is good stuff. Now I'll just read a few more of the comments. Where did we get up to? Just looking through the YouTube comments. The only good bug is a dead bug. Yes, it is indeed. That's why I hope they never try to force multiplayer, as asymmetry makes it much more interesting games, in my opinion, says Salomons. 100%. I'm 100% with you there. I think that like it's funny because when they announced Distant Worlds 2, I was really praying that they weren't going to try to make a multiplayer version of the game, and I don't know if they're thinking that they are or not, but it's just that crushes the imbalance, and the imbalance is what makes these sorts of games special. It's sort of funny. It's sort of like the opposite of what you think, but this is the point of difference between this game and, for example, Stellaris or Gal Civ or any of the other sort of games where they strive for balance because of multiplayer, and. But for this one here, it's really, really important, I think, for these sorts of games to actually have really wildly different game experiences whenever you play it. And this is one thing that you find with Distant Worlds is that the universe is always something that's different every time. It can be easy or it can be hard. You don't know what you're going to get. And so yeah, I'm sort of I agree with you 100% that. And it's sort of funny. I think that I don't think that devs do it as much, but there was a time when the multiplayer community was extremely vocal, like even though they weren't very big, and they drove the development of a lot of games and drove them into the dust, in my opinion, because I do also much prefer the asymmetry and not worrying too much about balance to just so you get like a different gaming experience every time. So yeah, 100% with you on that one. Hi Tom, how you going? And Icky Bins is saying, hey Daz, hi back. Sci-Fi Snob is saying Centavi fluids. That's the good stuff. It is the good stuff. Only comes from volcanic worlds, and we've got, as far as we know, we've got the only supply of that in the whole galaxy. So Sci-Fi Snob is saying, Distant Worlds 2 is one of the options on Humble Choice this month. Yes, we've covered that a lot actually. So if you are wanting to get the game for $12. US or €12, I think it is as well. You can go to the Humble Bundle and get it there for the base game. You don't get the DLCs, but you do get the base game for very, very cheap, as opposed to about $50, I think. So it's a very cheap way to get the game. Sci-Fi Snob saying, what does Return of the Shakturi add to the base game? Is it worth it? Yes, it is worth it. It's sort of one of those things again, because I often only play a short period into a game and then start again. I'm a bit bad like that. And so with end game events, which is what the Return of the Shakturi is, I was worried also that for someone like me, I'm not going to be getting a real lot of benefit from it, because I enjoy trying to find. It's a bit like if you're playing chess and only really just trying to learn the openings. I think I'm that sort of person, rather than sort of playing things through to where you're sort of moving the last little few pieces around. I tend to get bored with games once I know whether I'm either going to win or lose. And so I was worried about Return of the Shakturi being something that I was never going to really experience, but it actually adds a lot to the game all the way through the game. If you have it turned on, you can sort of have it come in early or whatever it might be. It does provide you then need to, wherever the galaxy is when the Shakturi arrive, you then need to start to band together to either join them or go up against them. So you've got all these different things that sort of then do kick in. So there's that aspect of it. But there is that thing I showed you before as well about the, if we go into the diplomacy, and you do actually have this alliances area. So the alliances is where, when the Shakturi arrive, you should then be trying to form alliances with like-minded groups to either go with them or against them. So the Shakturi will have their own alliance. But if you play without the Shakturi turned on, and I've got it turned off for the simple reason that I wasn't sure how far in I'd be playing the game, I can try to form an alliance with different groups. So we can actually then end up with like a federation of planets. And no one's, of course, is going to join me at the moment. So no one really likes us. So nobody wants to join our great federation that we actually have. But you can. The thing is, you do have the ability to do this at any point. Essentially, once you really start to get some good friendships going, and so this then essentially creates like a Star Trek experience is one way of looking at that. And that's just one small aspect of what Return of the Shakturi does do. If you have a look at the Steam page, you'll sort of see there's a whole lot of other things that it does add as well. It adds in a whole lot of different types of ship types and stuff like that as well. I think it does. I think it's not just base game, but you've sort of got like planet destroyers and things like. There's a whole lot of stuff that comes with it as well. Perfection saying, do you have affiliate links for the GOG platform? No, I don't actually. I haven't got a single affiliate link for any game that I play. Like usually when I've got links that I put up, it's a tracking link, and that's so if people are going to go, for example, to Steam, I don't get any cut from any of those links that I put up. If I did, I would say so, but I don't actually have any. I did actually have a Nexus store, which I haven't looked at for some months now, but that was actually the one way that I was getting a cut back from games. But then there's a lot of gaming companies that no longer deal with him, and Slytherin is one of those, from what I can tell at this point in time. The Distant Worlds is not available on that particular store. So I was reselling a lot of the games through Nexus, but at this stage that's not really viable. That's not really going. So there's no affiliate links at this stage. So when I do a sponsored stream, I quite often get a tracking link, and that's just really for the developers to see whether I'm actually reaching a big enough audience to warrant giving me the sponsorship, I guess. So it does help me when people do click on the tracking links. So I had a tracking link a few weeks ago for Distant Worlds, for example, but that's that link still works, but it's not really. This is not a sponsored stream or anything. So anyway, we've got those in through there. Now where did we get it? That's actually the. That's YouTube chat out of the way. We'll just go back through. I'll just sort of skim through, just see where we got up to in Twitch. Check for long range sensor, says Mad Menon. I don't have any myself, so I can turn them on, but we don't have any. We don't have any long range scanners. There's one over there we can acquire, which I may at some point look to try to get that if I can afford it, but I'm not sure about that one. So we'll probably just sort of leave that one alone for now. So I'll keep the long range scanners on because we don't actually have any, and when we do get them, that will be good to see. Okay, so Volanus is saying I'd like multiplayer to play co-op with friends. However, I would not want the balance altered because of it. Yeah, it's one of those sort of, I don't know. I think it's, for me it kills games. And when I find that a game is actually set to multiplayer, I tend to think less of it. Personally. Okay, Drex is saying you get dredge and diplomacy. It's not an option, and some other and some other with that. So you get dredge. Oh yeah, that's what you get in the humble bundle. Diplomacy is not an option. They're both good games. There's a few other good games. There's a lot of games that rate really highly in that humble bundle pack actually. Fistfire is saying, anyone tested a human-only galaxy? Wonder how does it play out. The humans are interesting. Like in the game, they're not the humans of Star Trek. You know, they're not sort of there to befriend everyone. They're very. They can go all sorts of different ways. I think if you did play a human-only galaxy, it would be pretty boring, just for the simple fact that they would ultimately gravitate towards diplomacy with each other. Like we haven't found any humans in here, but if we have a look at the Galactopedia, which I know this will also be getting some more attention in the coming coming period, where you'll be able to sort of search through it. This is a great resource, by the way. If you go to alien races, go to the humans. You can often quite get a bit of a sense as to what the AI will do with them based on their personality and also with their diplomacy. So see, they are aggressive, but they're also careful. Their reproduction rate is moderate. Yeah, that's not going to the assimilation. So dependability, they're neutral. They are cautious and aggressive. So that when they get into this is going to tell you that if they do get into a diplomatic arrangement with them, it will eventually become stronger and stronger and stronger. They're not going to be flighty. Also, they do get this bonus to diplomacy anyway as the humans, so they are diplomatic. And if we then have a look at at what they get in their race victory conditions, so control 20% of the continental colonies in the galaxy, but have the most defense treaties in the galaxy. This is actually one of their victory conditions, which means that they think in these terms. So they think in how do we establish these almost like federation type things, or But a defense treaty is essentially is close to an alliance essentially. So destroying more ships and the most amount of trade income. Again, by being diplomatic, you end up getting much more trade, earn the most tourism income. So again, sort of doing more of those and perform the most research. So that's what the humans aim for. So you get a bit of a feel for what each actual faction does. For example, if we look at the Wekkarus, which is what we're playing as. So we're playing as you can see down through here, we're neutral in our aggression. We're careful, we're very, very cautious, but we're not very dependable. We're still neutral, but a bit more negative. And so we tend to stick to ourselves. So we tend not to have things. You can see our overall diplomacy is very, very low. So people don't like us, and we don't like them. So we have sort of this ability to do different things, and so we have a different set of conditions. So we need to possess different artifacts. We like finding different artifacts in the galaxy. Capture the most foreign characters in the galaxy. We've captured a fair few already, actually. Lose the fewest colonies and control. Actually, I didn't realise that. We're going to have to protect everything we get. Control 25% of all the deep ocean colonies in the galaxy. So we have a very different way of playing. We prefer a monarchy, where the humans preferred I think it's republic or democracy or republic is what they prefer. And so they have a bit more open with what they can sort of then do than what we can do. But we're very similar. Like if we found humans, they would be a viable option for us to try to. We also have this natural liking and disliking of different things as well. So. Now, we're not... this is the other thing. I really, really wish that this was just one great big block of all of the factions in the game. And I wish that was controlled through looking at the time that the screen opens up, that it actually would look at the actual relationship in the actual XML files. Is it XML or Java? Whatever the files are. There's actually a matrix essentially in the actual files of the game that show you these things. I just don't know why we see that liked and disliked when we could just have, including the actual faction itself. The humans have got a 0% where they don't dislike or like them themselves, and then they have a slight dislike going down through to fairly major with Dayots, Boscara and Gizarians, like all of our neighbours in through here, for example. Yeah, I just wish that was a full list of... I don't know why it's not, to be honest. It just doesn't make sense to me not to have that, particularly when you look at certain things like the Boscara, where their list is... we've got 100%, so they hate other factions, but we don't know where humans are in that list, and that for me is something that really should be there. So the Gizarians the Dayuts and the Boscara are pretty good, but again, it should have its own faction in there as well. Like against other Boscara, they're actually pretty open to working with Boscara. The Mortallons, on the other hand, aren't. This is I think the only exception, when the Mortallons actually don't really like each other. They still like each other more than anybody else, but you can see they're not crazy dislike with the way that they sort of work. And so these things, actually, like this combination, really makes the game quite rich. So, I mean, going back to that question, would it be a good idea to have all human? No, I don't think it would be. I think it would be pretty boring, to be honest. But it would be all about how do they make these diplomatic sort of gestures to each other to a degree. There would still be wars, but it wouldn't be crazy like what we get when we play with things like the bug factions. Like these go down to negative 80%, but there's us there. Yeah, so even the Boscara is negative 20%. So they do tend to gravitate. The Gizarians as well. They're going to be there's another bug faction as well. Negative hundreds. They hate everyone. They hate everyone. So the Gizarians are sort of in that category there. Just having a bit of a look through. Just skim past and see. Hi Star Mage, how are you going? I wonder if the AI will send gifts to other AI to improve relations for treaties. I guess with automations, etc. I think they do. I'm pretty sure they do. I guess the starting governments for auto-generated empires is randomised with heavier weight to the preferred government, so that 3. Yeah, actually, that would be interesting in testing actually, and that would be fairly easy to test. Yeah, that would be an interesting one actually. Echo. Well, I think we're sort of. I think we've covered everything there now. Let's get back into it. So we know that they're going to be coming in fairly soon. We can just sit and wait for that particular invasion to now come. So we can now get ahead of them because we know where they're coming. This is like having long-range scanners, seeing where they are. They may decide to turn back because when we have a look at their ships, they're already getting a bit low on fuel. So they've got a little bit of fuel. If I select it, that's their fuel range there. Now the fuel range of that fleet is still very, very long. So anyway, let's just go and unpause. Not sure how we're seeing this. It's like we've got a ship in here somewhere, but we don't. Building a resort station in the Fellas system as well. We got smashed in the Fellas system. Here we go. I love this as well. Okay, we must have a ship here somewhere. What was that one? Oh, there's a ghost ship. Maybe it was the ghost ship that we saw. It's going off to attack a. I thought there was a hive ship for a second. I thought, oh no, don't do that. So this small troop transport is jumping as well, but it's jumping in the wrong direction. So maybe it was a ghost ship that was left behind that actually gave us the information. So I think there was a star. That was the one ship icon. Oh, hang on. Yeah, if we go into... that's what I should have done. It's actually to see what was there. So we do actually have this ghost ship. This... So the Wekkarus are sort of... Like, I think the way of thinking of the Wekkarus is a little bit like they're the Cthulhu sort of faction in the game, and so we end up with sort of like ghostly things, and we have all these different like things that do actually happen. Hang on, what's that? We're not at war with them. Not sure why that's there. Our agent has evaded detection, are successfully carrying out their mission to steal their territory maps, so that's just going to give him a little bit more of a boost. Declare war. So the Dayuts have declared war on the Datnui. So they've gone back to war again, which is good for us because they were struggling a lot. Now, we're not at war with the Dayuts, so let's just go back to diplomacy and just have a quick look. The only one we've got a problem with is the Boscara. What we want to have is we want this the Dayuts to ultimately, essentially, we're going in with, we've got to defend. Defend means that our empire will prepare defences against prepared aggression from this particular faction. I'm leaving these on auto at this stage. I will change them depending on what we need to do. So, yes, we only recently ended a war with this faction. Declaring war on this faction now would significantly damage our reputation. So, I'm just going to let that one sort of develop and just do its own thing for a little while. It's really the Boscara War is the big one. But we did see that they are moving in towards Cantrella. So they will come. And so that group will now just sit there in perfect formation. This is what we want to see. This is what we want to see. This was the 5th. Just make sure it's set to tight. Yep, it is. Oh, that's interesting. This is now new as well. I mean, I like having a tight's one that I use a lot. I would put that up the top there. So, man, it's saying D's declaring war. Not on us, no. I think I tried to ask the Dayots to end a war. Yeah, maybe. Or it might have. Yeah, no, the AI hasn't. We haven't been. We're doing diplomacy manually, unless something has changed in here. So we've got suggestions all the way through. All the funding levels are automatic. Ship construction is manual. Base construction is automatic. Research, yeah, that's all stuff. Okay, that's all good. Diplomacy gifts, yeah, so all the diplomacy is done with suggestions. So there should be suggestions about these things. Yep, that's okay. Just leave that one where that is. We've got a policy for something else, but I forget what it was now. It's to do with the troops. The auto scrap I know came in. Auto scrap troops when you cannot afford them. I might go back to no on that one actually, just so that we know, so we can manage that ourselves. Just leave that one where that is. So, I've saying Daz hoping the Dayots defeat the Gizarians due to prevent. Well, they're so far away, the Gizarians. They're a mid-game threat to us. Like they're there at the Draco system, but they're not really there in any sort of force. I'm thinking that the Dayots should be able to take this one back, and then Datanui is actually where their capital is, and so they're actually in through here. There's another faction over through here which we don't know about. It looks like it's the same colour as the Dayots. Anyway, oh there we go. We're now starting to see a little bit more in through here. Oh, we did see more. So this is actually another Gizarian world, fairly big one as well, actually. We don't have any other ships there. If I just press the control key and just marquee select, yeah, there's nothing in that region of space. Yeah, I've got a few ships now starting to appear. So we have a mineral miner there, for example. That's the closest one inside their territory, and we do actually have a small exploration ship which is now moving out. And good, this is going to Udis to the Udis system. So hopefully we'll then make contact with this particular group here. It's interesting that that's going back. That line goes back to the Delvry system, where it's inside the space of the Boscara. So they may already be at war. So we'll find out what happens there. Let's just continue on. Where do we get up to? So John Longshore, just pause while I look across the other screen, saying this is Return of the Shakturi expansion. I love the idea of the game and purchased it, but it just strikes me as too complicated for my retired brain. John saying, I guess Master of Orion is the best fit for me. I think that the game it appears complex. Actually, just let me move my head out of the way of some of the user interface there. I'll just move it up. It's about here is usually about the best spot for me to do stuff in the game. The game can be, you don't have to do much in this game to actually be able to play it. And I can show you that if I just do another save where we are. If I just go back into here and save the game. Sort of really getting a couple of months at a time, but that's okay. If I go back out to the main menu, the way that you can set so I'll set up in fact I can do it in here, even in this game. Like if I just go back and continue the game, I'll come back and reload where we are, but it will remember my settings. the automation is all just handled through this one screen through here, and you can set these presets. And so you can actually do something called rule in absence. I won't actually click on it, but that basically means the AI will look after everything. And then you just switch on what you want to look after. I go to default, which means that most things are going to be suggested to me. And it's up to me whether I actually then do them or not. So I don't have to, it doesn't have to become overwhelming. And particularly if you just leave things on auto, you don't have to, you can just focus on what you're interested in. If you only want to focus on the on diplomacy, you can actually let the AI do all of the ship building and all of the ship designs, the fleets, the whole lot. You don't have to get involved at all. In fact, in this particular game, what we did do is we played this one with rule in absence for 10 years, so 10 years of game time, where I didn't even touch the game at all. I just let the AI play for 10 years. And at the end of the 10 years, what I did was I was going to play for 20 years or until a war started, and then a war did start, and so I took over at the 10-year mark. But it's very, very good. The way I've got to say, where it's overwhelming is when people think that they've got to push for exploration, push for settling different other worlds. You really don't, and really shouldn't actually, because it tanks your money. You can see our cash flow is being damaged quite badly because we've got too many crappy little worlds under our control. So we're not sort of really managing the big worlds. Like, we're not managing these little worlds. We've got too many of them at this point in time. Here we go, getting the first of these exploration ships. So it's one of these games that appears overwhelming, but isn't as bad as it would appear. Now I'm going to try to drive the. I'm going to try to take over a lot of their central territories that they actually have. Now this 4th Defence Force is moving out to Ross. Its home base is still Roskiri 1, so I've got to set this one to manual. Okay, there we go. We've got the Gallant Culprit. If we go and have a look where this one is set up, so we've got a research station in through here. This is giving us 11% construction research. If I go into my research area, and again, if I had this on automated, I don't have to do this, but so this is actually set up in the Wekkarus system, and this is a system I don't want to really be losing. So I can go and if I go into where my scientists actually are, so we're transferring to transferring out to the Wekkarus system, and the other one is at the Pimbay Research Centre. So we've only got 2 scientists at this point in time. You can see our potential research with this new one has now come up. Oh, sorry, we're now doing 104 research, so about the same as the Boscara at this stage. So we'll try to get the other one established as well. Like there's another research station. We're trying to get Fellis, and we're also been trying to get the Kuwait system, but we just can't get in there. It's just been a bit too dangerous. You can see the last signing of this location showed dangerous threats. They must first be cleared before civilian ships will travel there. So when the war finishes, maybe we'll go and try to get this one as well, just so we can sort of go and do things. But we need to, we've had 2 scientists. I might just have a quick look and see how we're going, because I really want to get the long-range scanners, and I just want to make sure that we're getting closer and closer. You've only got 14% there, unfortunately. And we need to get to 20. So we'll just exit that research. When the scientists, are the scientists on their way? Yeah, this one's transferring. Oh, these are set to auto. When they get to their stations, so this one's going to be there in 3 months. Yarra Station. So I'm going to set that one to manual, and I'm going to set this one as well. This one's transferring to Pimbay Research Station, which will also get there in 3 months. And so these have got like some all research bonuses, and that may be enough to then push them over the top. Because at the moment, I don't think we're getting the research from these. If we go back and have a look at the at our research bonuses, we go to all research 14%. You can see there that we've got the Wekkarus race is giving us plus 10%, and the Gozandu Vudugar is giving us plus 4. If we go back to our scientists, this one here is actually giving us the plus 4. But the other one, this Rhetoric, we actually had to rescue him. And so he's been rescued from where he was, and he's got another plus 9%, which should then, if we're at 14% now, when he kicks in, that should actually then give us the over the 20%. So we may be able to get our long-range scanners pretty quickly. I hope that made sense. Sing out in the chat if you want me to go through. Yeah, of course, it's saying I believe that scientist needs one more arm. Yeah, but and also if you want to grab my attention, just go at DasTactic, and it will then show up in red on the either YouTube or in Twitch as well. So Tenor is saying, I wish Empire of the Fading Sun would auto-save at the end of every turn like Shadow Empire does. You can set that. Like that's a setting in the game for Empire of the Fading Suns. I'm kind of impressed with that game. Like it's such an old game, but it's still so good right now. It's very, very cool what they've done with the enhanced version. Of course, it's saying, yeah, there's a lot of automation. The game can play itself if one wants. Yes, it really can. So anyway, let's continue on. So research station is now completed. Just go to show me. So that is Yarra Station essentially. Back and through there. It says Gallant Culprit. That must be this guy here. I'll just zoom back out. Yeah, this is the construction ship. So that is the Yarra Station, which is there. We have another one at Pembe as well. So we have this is where we did actually have different scientists then sort of doing what they're doing. So we had to rescue from the Fellas system, and we have we do actually have a construction ship. Yes, this one is building a research station at Fellas 3, and that will then get our research up even a bit higher. But it's that all important that all research that we need to get the shield research up. Let's just keep it going. So John Longshore is saying, what is your number one favourite game? My favourite series of games is, like really number one and number two have been there for a long period of time. Number one is Age of Wonders, and that's been my favourite series of games ever since version 1 came out in around about 1999. So I've loved that game, and so that is still my number one. And my number two is actually Distant Worlds. Oh, here we go. Now we've just spotted another group coming in. So we can see through there's actually a 6th strike force, which is coming into this particular location. I'll just pause it here. So Distant Worlds I love just because it's so unbalanced, so beautifully unbalanced. I always got to put the word beautifully in front of that, because it just means that every time you play it, it does feel different. It doesn't feel as different at the moment as what Distant Worlds Universe did, but I'm hopeful that when the Pirate expansion comes, that will then sort of really flesh out the, I guess, that sort of that full randomization. I know that's what really made Distant Worlds Universe for me, was the Pirate expansion. So Falkins is saying the percent increases to skills or success additive, so additive on top of previous chance, or multiplicative, like when you get a plus 2% boost to colony income, does that mean you have 1.05? Is it 107, or is it 105 times 102? It's an addition, not a multiplication. Essentially, you add the bonuses together, and it does show you when you look at different things. So, for example, if we do a bit of a deep dive into, we'll have a look and see what this strike force is going to be doing. So it's coming in, and that's going to be an interesting little fight we're going to have there actually. But if you have a look at the science that we actually end up having, so I'll explain the problem that we have. And the problem we have is that we're going to be finishing off planetary governance fairly soon, and you don't need anything to research planetary governance. But some of the others you do, like officer training, and through here, for example, you can see through here that there's extra requirements to get this one. So research threshold of 20% troop research bonuses from all sources. At the moment, we have 16. And so you can see we've got 2% from troop research and 14% from all research. So we already have a bonus in there for troop research somewhere, but 14% from all research. Now that's added on. So as we get, that gives us the 16. It says there we've got 17% troop research bonuses, because they're not hard set numbers, but that's sort of so we need 3 more essentially in through there. So when we get the extra 3 coming in, we'll then be able to get officer training if we wanted to. What we're wanting to get is long range scanners or long range sensors, and so this has got a 20% sensor research threshold as its extra requirements. And we don't have any sensor research natively, but we do actually have 14% from all research. So and when that scientist arrives at that station, it will then go up even more. Thank you for the subscription there, Motive. Very, very much appreciated. So Tenor is saying, Daz, I demand a fanboy emote. I want to spam that when you start talking about Age of Wonders 4. Well, they're my two favourites, but then there's a lot of games that would then sort of fit into that number 3 slot, and I'm thinking of the emotes that I do actually have. I do actually have the Dwarf Fortress emoji, where I've sort of put my logo in with the Dwarf Fortress icon. Moto's saying, I have a Steam key for Distant Worlds 2. Would you like it for a giveaway? Oh, that'd be great if you like. So I get given different keys, and so I've got a fair few keys. So if you've got someone you wanted to give it to, by all means, please keep it. But if you do have one, and and I can give it away, then that would be and you're happy to do that. That's great. I don't need it, is what I'm saying. But I'll gratefully accept it if you sort of really just don't need to have it. So thank you for that, Motive. Very, very nice offer. I won't do that. I'll find a reason to give that away. So it'll probably be on a chat tactic session. So on a YouTube session, I think, is when I tend to do those different things. But that would be great. So thank you. If you can get that to me whichever way, then that'd be awesome. So anyway, Software saying, agree with Daz, it's great, and you can make it as complicated or not as you wish. Yeah, it's one of those things really where you just let the I've been lately referring to it and saying you can play it in goldfish bowl mode, where you can just watch and see what happens. Actually, Motive, probably the easiest way is if you're on Discord, but other than that, if you just send it to Daz at DasTactic, which I'll put in here, hang on, DasTactic.com, that will get to me. So that's my email there. So that's my gaming email. So I'll just pop that into the chat there. So Muzzle Pain saying, oh my God, it's full of Daz streams. Yeah, I'm probably streaming too much at the moment, to be honest, in terms of the algorithm, but I enjoy it. So screw the algorithm. Anyway, the research that we have through there. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get up to 20% sensor research. And so when we have a look at at our scientists in our research area, we can see that each of these scientists have got their own abilities. So this one here has got high-tech weapons and all research of 4%. Now this is still active. He has also abilities like he's a Patriot, for example, which slightly decreases the success rate of other Empire Steel Tech espionage missions against your Empire. So we've got things like that, which is good. Then we've got Rodaric, who is the one that we had to rescue. And so he's actually still in transit. And he has a... So these aren't kicking in yet, but he's got weapons, genetic research, hyperdrive research, and all research of 9%. So we get to add that 9% on top of the existing 14% is how that should work. So that will then take us over the 20%, I'm hopeful. So he's going to arrive in 0910. So coming like a couple of months, essentially. So we'll wait and see what actually happens when he arrives. Now, sorry, we're going to look at this. So these are bouncing in to do something. We don't know what. Now, this is one of the Xenox ships. Now, when we in the 10 years that we were playing the game, the Xenox found an abandoned, like a ship graveyard full of really, really high-power Xenox ships. And so they're using this one in their strike force, and this is a heavy frigate. And so it's got it doesn't have massive firepower, but it's got very, very good protection. And so this particular ship has just come in. We don't know why it's here. And if we just go and grab the 6th Strike Force and have a bit of a look at it, we can see it's here. The other ships are spread out, running through this other side. And we don't know what its actual mission is. So this one, we knew the other one was going to be invading Cantrilla 4. So we had that mission selected to us. We don't know what this one's doing in here. But our 4th fleet has just arrived. So the 4th fleet is just a small defensive fleet. It's not a big fleet. And so we've got our bigger fleet. The 3rd fleet is also moving out to the Fellas system. So it's... and this one is trying to defend... Actually, this one is actually still moving out. It's moving to Fellas 1. It is set to auto, so it's actually going in to try to defend targets. So it's actually, no, that's outside the target. So why is it doing that? I think I may have selected it to move out there and then told it to move back. We need to have, ultimately, yeah, that's right. We need to build that station and then position this at that station. So we end up with big fleets. So the first attack force is over here. The fifth will be over this way, or the third will be over this way. And then I'll be using, and I'll ultimately end up with another one moving out to the Ura system, where we sort of can then sort of dominate the central part of the border, and so we'll sort of be on that border there for a little while. Now we're seeing we have a diplomat back over here at their home world as well, so we can start to sort of see what they've still got left in through here. They've got their first defence force, which is about the same strength as ours. Their third fleet is their main attack fleet. And we've destroyed most of the Xenox ships that were in this one. Has taken, this is going back in for repairs, and so we can see there that, but when we see it, we can still see where the other ships are. They've got a ship here that's limping back from combat, from when we had given it a blood nose last time. Fourth Defence Force is sitting back at home. Again, we don't know what their missions are, but our diplomat is giving us all this information. So we get this information from the diplomat when he sees things. And so the third fleet, their third fleet is the one fleet that we have to be a little bit scared of. But everything else is actually pretty cool there. So now we've got, so Falkins is saying asking Eric, have you thought about adding a drop-down to allow for, say, automated building of mining bases, but ask about others except for defence bases which are manual? You have effectively done this for ships but not bases. That's a good question, actually, Falkins. To actually be more specific about the types of bases that can be automatically built. Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, I know you can set up the numbers, but I'm not sure if that works with bases. Sorry, I've got a few more comments there on YouTube. So Muzzle Paint saying, you're coming up on the top of my feed every day. I think it's working. Okay, cool. That's good. That's great. Okay. Well, in that case, I don't feel bad about streaming regularly to YouTube. I sort of had stopped doing it because it was crushing my the algorithm for such a long period of time that I'm still going to try to mix things up a little bit. But anyway, that's good to know. So thanks for that. And Sci-Fi Snob is saying Distant Worlds can be difficult to start if you have never played. I got into Distant Worlds Universe late. I had to watch Daz streams and others to figure out what to do. So, Larry Monty's over on the Twitch channel as well. Like a lot of people actually were watching a lot of Larry's content as well with the Distant Worlds Universe. So, and Larry was hardcore. I was mainly automation. Larry was all manual. Which different approaches, different ways of playing the game, which is great. And Sci-Fi Snob saying Distant Worlds 2 is much easier and seems easier to pick up. The user interface is so much better than, and the user experience is so much better than, like the UX aspect of the game is so much better than Distant Worlds Universe. But it's still not. It still has a lot of improvement that can be done with in that aspect of the game. So it's not as easy as some other games, like in terms of the user experience, but it's heading in the right direction. Abel is then saying, any advice for diplomacy? If I'm too strong, I get the envy of your power modifier, and if I'm weak, I get does not align with our goals for all treaties. Gifts, basically. Just if you've got the money, just spam gifts. That's that seems to be the way. And I say that because I'm immediately thinking that's what Eric does. I know that when Eric's trying to get something to happen, he will start to give gifts whenever he possibly can to a different faction, and I'm assuming that would still be the way it works, because I know that in the past when I've been playing the game and been really struggling against diplomacy, like where everyone's against me, that's the advice that Eric has given me, is to just make sure that you give gifts. So I'll pass that forward. Pass that along. There we go. So Sci-Fi Snob is saying, plus the quality of life advances makes it easier for each beta up. Yeah, the game is just getting better and better, and like with what it does show. Hi Bioff, how you going? Widowmaker's saying, "Hey Daz and chat, like the shirt, good sir." The red shirt, yes. It's my wife hates this one. I don't know why. I actually really like it. It's a really comfortable shirt. I've got a fair few shirts that she really doesn't like. Whenever I read it, whenever I wear them, she says, "You can't wear that." But we're usually going out somewhere. So anyway, that's the way it goes. All right, let's continue on. So my opinion is that once you're over about 50, no one even looks at you. No one cares what you look like. They just put you in the category of it's just that old bloke. So of course, it's saying wives tend to dislike comfort shirts. Yeah, it's very true, very very true, which is sort of funny. Anyway, it's yeah, so it's sort of funny because your family still keeps on worrying about like that you're going to embarrass them by what you wear. But I think once you hit a certain 55, Widowmaker's saying 55 here, preach on, brother. Yeah, I found that at about 50, no one even looks at you. You know, like it's just you're just some old bloke that's in the background. It's only your family that worries. Yeah, so Bioff saying, so all the assassins of the world are men over 50 because no one notices them. There we are, yes. Okay, so Lewis is saying, hello Daz, am I losing much content not having any DLC for Distant Worlds 2? That's a good question, actually. Yes and no. I think it's yes if you play it a lot, if you play the game a lot, and you're finding that you would like to have more depth and breadth to your gaming experience, then yes, the DLCs do add a lot to that. So it's a shame that you didn't ask this question a week ago because they were pretty much all on special a week ago, but they're not on special at the moment. So, but if you are enjoying the 7 factions that you've got, and remember that the last 2 factions that need to be upgraded will be upgraded, in the coming months. I'm not exactly sure when, but they will be worked on next, and then all of the 7 factions will play very, very uniquely. But I personally really like the additions that they've brought in every single time. Like it really has made the game so much richer, the way it sort of does work. It's for me, it's actually very, very cool. Because saying, yeah, they only kill the target when they're damn well ready. Yes. So yeah. So Major 50 saying, once summer rolls around, I'm wearing Hawaiian shirts every day. Yeah. So I'm allowed to wear Hawaiian shirts. That's on the good list of shirts I'm allowed to wear. It's just when I wear, I don't know what it is. I actually really like this shirt. I think I've just had it for too long. I've had it for maybe decades. But it's really comfortable, so I really like it, and it feels like it's got a collar. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm dressed up. I'm ready for action. Yeah, so actually, Foreman saying buy one race DLC and see if it makes a difference. Yes, very very good suggestion actually. If you're going to buy one, if you want an aggressive, like if you're looking for aggressive factions, get the Gizarian DLC. If you're looking for, and they're all now the same price. But if you're looking for something a bit more diplomatic and I guess a bit more sort of interesting in that sense, then I would probably go. Actually, the Clamino DLC is great as well. When did that one come out with? They're all good. They've all got different things. Maybe you just have to read up about them and see what you have. But I'm also thinking that this Wekkarus one that we're playing, I really quite like them. I even like the Artooks, which I didn't think I would. Which was aggressive, says Widowmakers. The Gizarians. Gizarians are considered to be the most overpowered faction in the game, like just from what people, when you read comments. Like if we go into, there's usually complaints about them. That's why I'll see if I can find them. Like you usually say, oh, the Gizarians I can't beat them. And I don't know if there'll probably be a rebalance at some point a little bit. Let's have a look and see if there's anything. I'm not sure what that one's referring to. Let's just go back across. Yeah, actually, I'm not seeing it. Normally, there's a fair few about Gizarians in the game. Usually, this is people aren't worrying. They're not complaining about it. Gizarian plaque. For those who are playing Gizarians on the most current patch, Have you seen character? No, that's nothing we have to worry about. I mean, these are all very, very recent, to be honest. To be fair, I can do a search, but I won't worry. She'll do a search. Played 2 games in mid-game recently. Still seems like Boscar and Gizarine just expand completely out of control and wipe out any AI empires. So the Boscar is one we're fighting against. The Gizarians are even more than that, again. Yeah, fighting Gizarians, advice. Here we go. So just different people. You can see there, that's a year ago, with what's going through. You've not seen all that more recently done. So that's... but that is, the Gizarians were sort of considered to be pretty much the most OP faction in the game. And of course you can play as them, so if you get the DLC, which is pretty cool. Beacon saying, any news on when they're adding the Steam achievements? I like having inspiration goals to play in ways that I wouldn't normally play. I'm not sure, actually. I don't know if Eric's technically in the chat, but may not be listening. He may be working. But if he is around, he could possibly answer if that's something that's coming. I'm not sure if or when that's going to be coming. Yeah, so there we go. So anyway, let's continue on with our game. But that's so yeah. If you're looking at the different DLCs, actually, while I was out there, I should have actually just had a quick look. They said they're coming. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess that's most devs don't give you actual specifics as to when that's happening unless they've unless it's sort of the next thing on the horizon. Go back to the store page. I'll just quickly go through the DLCs. So typically, what happens is you end up with a just get rid of that. So these are the different DLCs. So Artux and Wekkarus. Both of these aren't as they're not as aggressive. Like the other groups that we've actually had have had one reasonably aggressive faction and one more peaceful type faction. Whereas this one here is a little bit different with the Artux and Wekkarus, and I'm guessing we're going to get some differences in through there now. The Wekkarus are much more sort of standoffish, which is what we're playing as. The Artux are, so the differences here is you've got a sort of a very closed group with the Wekkarus, and you've got a very open and expansive group with the Artux into this other side. Down through this factions with the Quamino and the Gizarians. This is I would probably have to say that of all of the faction DLCs, this one is my favourites. I love the Quamino. These are scientific. These play very, very well. This is another aquatic faction, and then the Gizarians being super aggressive. So you've got a real. Both these factions for me play really brilliantly. I love playing as either one of those factions. So I would say that those two are within my favourite few factions in the game. I really enjoy them. I've got to say the Wekkarus is now as well. Yeah, there's not very many factions that I actually don't like playing. For the first one that came out, the Ikaru and the Dauts. The Dauts are a bug faction, but they're not as aggressive as the Gizarians and the Boscara. So we've still got the Slukins to come as well. I'm not sure when they'll be arriving, but that would be interesting when they actually arrive as well as another bug faction. But they've sort of been bringing in a fair few different bug factions in the early part of the game. And so the Dauts are more like spies. These are sort of a big arachnids, and they sort of have like spy networks. And so they tend to be more subterfuge. They do actually have some pretty cool ships though as well. And the Ikaru is sort of peace-loving, but through they can wield a big stick as well. These are sort of like like a bear type faction, whereas these are spiders. Quaminos are oceanic, and then we've got the Gizarians as a bug faction, and of course the Artux and Wekkarus, which is sort of the most recent of them. But yeah, of those, Quamino and Gizarians I would rate as higher than the other two. Just because I really do like both those factions a lot. Okay, Beoff saying I don't like playing as the Ikaru. I actually do. I like them because even though they're supposedly peace-loving, they can still be very, very powerful. So yeah, I do quite like them. Beoff saying I played the Artuk for a bit, and they are very powerful. Yeah, with their expansion. So being saying I don't like the Gizarians or the Daots. There we are. But I really quite enjoy, like, the Gizarians are one of my favourite factions to play because they've just the differences with their ships and their bonuses that they get are quite unique as well. Bioff saying, with in regard to the Artooks, you just end up with so much money as them. Okay, yeah, I haven't played deep into an Artook game, but they are, again, it's a different way, different game styles all the way through. Anyway, let's unpause. We're going to get these scientists. Now, the 11th Strike Force is going into the Cantrella 1 mining station. So Cantrella 1 is here, and they have arrived. Okay, we've got a mining station out here. All right, we're not going to be able to hold that. So they've sent a raiding force. So when you see this little lightning bolt, that means it's a raiding group. And if we see this strike force, so their 11th strike force is heading in towards a base that we have built, which is getting Ossalia. So that's just a strategic resource. We're not going to be able to hold that. I don't know how we built that, to be honest. I've got them set to auto. Oh, hang on. These were supposed to be going off and attacking. So at this point in time, if we have a look at the, this is the 4th Defence Fleet. And so, they're not going off to target. So these are manually controlled, but auto-engaging targets nearby. See how it's only 5,000 unit range? They're not going off to target that ship, whatever it's doing. So I need to, it's jumping at the moment, we're not even going to get there. In that case, I'll leave it where it is. But what I need these guys to do is, actually maybe I'll just leave it even at that, and then I can manually control it. These ships, the individual ships, the individual fleet, the 4th fleet, if I go into the set tactics in through here, the fleet engagement range is 50M, but the ships themselves also have an engagement range for when they're in a system. And so if we have a look at each ship, and if I click on an actual individual ship and look at its tactics, you can see that it's actually, the fleet engagement, no, it is different. If I go back to the 4th again, sorry, it is part of the fleet tactics. If I go to the advanced settings, I've got the overrides. Actually, no, I don't have it there. Ships assigned, it's tight. Where have I got it? I'm missing that somewhere. It's the same area. Let's go to the flagship. Oh no, it is the same system. I'm not sure why they're not going off and attacking it. DM range. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's showing that. It's manually controlled, auto-engaging targets nearby. How am I not seeing this? They should be attacking ships in the same system. I'm not sure why they're doing it that way, to be honest. Anyway, well, let's leave it where that is for now. Put my air conditioner on. I'm not sure if I've got it on. Oh, here we go. So we've got a, I'll just pause this. Under attack. Escort is under attack by a troop transport. Let's have a look. So it just got up just as this attack was going in. So, sure, here they come. Here they come. So they've actually bounced into this system. So they've bounced in, and then they're now moving in to do their final attack on Cantrella. So they're actually jumping in. This is the troop transports. So they'll be coming in very, very soon. So that's escort is under attack. So if we just go to show me, so this one here is, where is that ship? So it's showing that there was a ship that had bounced in, but I'm not seeing it there. There's a destroyer. No, that's a pirate destroyer. Small freighter. Yeah, there's nothing else there. That's okay. Then we've got incoming fleet detected. So they're again, we're seeing that the 9th Invasion Fleet is still heading towards Cantrella 4. Just go and dismiss that one. We'll dismiss this as well. And then what we end up having is ancestors among us. So the intense stress of combat in the Cantrella system has established a long connection with our ancestral psychic memories, and so it's causing an admiral from long ago to appear. An admiral is on board the despair of Rosgiri. So they've actually now joined this fleet. And so we've got, like, this is again that Cthulhu aspect of playing as a Wekkarus. So we only have this as playing as a Wekkarus. If we go in and grab the, this is the 5th fleet? Yeah, 5th fleet, and through there, we have a Ghost Admiral. So this is Admiral Larix Piguru, who is a ghost, who will only stay around for a limited period of time, but he's giving boarding strength defense and countermeasures. Not really going to be, countermeasures will be helpful, but not against this fleet. This is a bit of a wasted one of those events kicking in, but that's okay. Here they come. Now, what's happened there? They're actually moving off. They're moving out to try to attack, to intercept this. But they're moving in. They're jumping anyway. So I don't want to be jumping out. I want to be staying back where I am. So these have been set to try to intercept that particular group. Attack the Grim Nexus. The range is way too long. Okay, back you go, guys. Back you go. Driller 1 mining station is under attack. And this is the another strike force. Oh, that's that one there. That's okay. We'll just ignore that. Okay, it's Candrella. This is Cantrella. So very similar names. We'll just keep our ships where they are. New mining station complete. Are you moving back? That was another invasion fleet. Looks like they bounced in and then bounced back out again. Move back out. I'm not seeing them. Let's see what happens here. Oh, I keep on missing the... when we have another ship pass over the top of them, we'll be able to pick them up. Here they come. So we've got this is the 9th invasion fleet. So we're back here waiting for this one, but there's a 2nd invasion fleet that we actually had missed as well from their side of things, which we should pick up now. Okay, this is the 2nd invasion fleet. Let's have a look and see what this has got. This one has only got, this one's got 6 infantry, 11 armor. This is a big fleet. We don't know where it's going, but it snuck through. We didn't even get to see this one. They've got a destroyer there, which you can't sort of see. We've got some ships all over the place. So this is just but there is a fair number of ships in through here. This one that's just been disabled. 9th invasion fleet. Well, what have we got left in through here? We've only got the 2nd. Oh, don't tell me that's all I've got here. You've only got the 2nd invasion fleet back at here. We don't actually have any other protection. 3rd fleet is moving up into that role. 4th, I'm going to have to move back. So we've got the 5th back that way. I'll see what their intentions are. So we've got different fleets coming at different angles, but this is the more dangerous fleet, the one that's coming back into this system. It's possibly just coming in to bounce in. So we can see what happens here. So this is actually the first attack. And so these guys have actually now appeared right in the middle of our fleet, which is sort of what we wanted. So so we can now sort of smash them by being where we are. And this is where the change now with the fleet sort of trying to keep cohesion is a good thing. So we go to the 5th and just have a look at the threats for invasion. Usually will be on these big transports. They're trying to capture this particular escort. That's what their role is at this stage. This one's coming in. There's nothing on board any of these. A fragment there. We've got some debris that's actually in here. I'm not sure from when, but there is actually some debris that's just floating around. Let's just grab the 5th and we'll destroy. This is the biggest attack ship yet. And we've got to find the ones with the troops on board. Look, there was only like one troop on this one, I think. So I'll just go back in, and this thing is it's starting to have everything come back down. I'll just play it at half speed, just while we're sort of in this sort of combat mode. And the other ships are sort of still coming through. We do actually have good range with our pulse cannons against the Boscaran ships. So again, we'll just keep on going for a little bit. Now that's going to jump by the looks. No, it's still trying to capture. That's okay, we'll keep this one coming while they're still in here. Okay, accept war mission, capture enemy leaders. Our military strategists have analysed the situation of our war against the Boscara over my ascendancy, looking for tasks that have a maximum impact against our enemy. So we have the following suggestion. We've identified an enemy ambassador that should prove invaluable if captured. You should find and capture Ambassador Wekkarus of the Boscara over my ascendancy. Now, before I come back to that one, I can sort of try to find where he actually is. I don't think we can see it in the search area. Like, I'm pretty sure that the characters don't come up. But Wekkarus, if he's not at our home world, I think I'm going to reject it. So let's just go back out to the Roskiri system and just sort of see. And even then, I'm not sure how to do this. Yeah, there's no other ambassadors there. Our guys. Yeah, so I'm not sure where he is. Ambassador, just see if he's at his home world. That's the Great Overseer. Spies. Felt like Wekkarus waiting at Storiad. I'm not going to be able to get him. If we have a look at our spies. This is good. Okay, we're back in here again. It's a Blade of Energy Shields. So he does have... It's only 71%, which is a bit risky. Let's just see if that's something we can actually then go and do. Character defection. Got assassination. I can't see how we can actually sort of capture using spies. It's only 25%, so no, this is not something we want to be doing. So in that case, I'll just go to counterintelligence, and I won't assign the mission. I'll just leave it where that is. All right, we need more spies, really. But anyway, that's I'm going to decline that one. I can't see us getting to that particular mission unless even if they send it to us, it's not going to happen. Everyone's saying use a spy interface, that might work. No, it's not going to work for us. So we'll leave that one where that is. Hopefully our the guy that we're going in steering the research, I really would prefer him to be going and getting not the shielding but the actual long range scanners. But we're actually almost there now at the time that we need to be. Let's just go back into these. We should have more combat coming. Actually, we'll just go back to half speed while we do this. So we're seeing different groups coming back through. This is the 9th Invasion Fleet. This is the so we've got their full invasion fleet is now basically back into here with the 9th, and so we are attacking this ship at the moment. So let's just keep it going. Got a ghost ship which has appeared. When they turn to jump, that's when we're going to be wanting to do stuff against them. They've only got the one troop transport there, so This one is trying to escape. We'll just try to destroy it before anything else happens. Okay, that looks to be good. Nope, it's still moving. Got it. Okay, now we'll move across to this one where we've got the troop transports on board. So 5th comes in. So that pulse cannon is sort of working away. Okay, that's not going to go anywhere. Oh, yes, it will. Still there. Okay, does this one have anything? That's trying to escape. That one's trying to escape as well. That one's that's got its shield down a little bit. Actually, that one has as well. They're both... This one here is a bit easier for us. So we'll switch across. This one's not going anywhere now. Hyperdrive is now offline. So just grab the 5th again and just go to this one. Hyperdrive offline. Let's go to this one over here. Got away. Alright, so they're all out. Now the other fleet that was coming back through may have already passed right over the top. It may be heading out towards the Minchia system, which was what we've seen before. So I don't think it's... The 5th I'm going to put back down to just to defend. So it's defending the Cantrella 4 spaceport. Yeah, I'll keep that where that is. I think that will still be okay. We can always bounce back across to Roskiri if we have to. Now we're a few days now into the into where those scientists actually had arrived. If we have a quick look and see. Yeah, so these are now researching. So we end up having the all research of 4%, all research of 9% here with Sober. So we'll now go and have a look and see. Yeah, so you see officer training is now kicked in, but is long-range scanners. Yeah, long-range scanners is now in here. So we're going to go and throw this one in next. So we'll pay the costs, and we'll move that one up. And we want to get this one next, if we can. So that's important to us. So our scientists are sort of kicking in to give us the bonus that we needed there. Spotting the bugs one ship at a time. It's pretty much all we can really do at this stage, and eventually we'll move out. So the 4th is there. The 3rd is moving to Phallus 1, so they're still moving in. Now there are Boscaran ships in around here. There's a space dock. So see if we can destroy this. It's actually ready to start building something. Now that one there has got, yeah, we'll actually build a large mining station here. So we should be building a research station around somewhere as well. There it is. Yep, this will be the this will be very, very important that we keep hold of this particular research station. Sprocket Tickle Bottom saying their weapons sound like some techno music. Yes, they've got it's a special wave weapon that the Wekkarus have got. Send the 5th Attack Force to prepare and attack the Ergonite battles. To attack Ergonite battle at Roskiri. Let's have a look and see. It's sort of showing that there's another ship in here somewhere. I'll just zoom out a little bit. Aha, yes. So what are they doing in here? Unknown mission. So this is actually the troop transports. So yeah, we'll definitely send the 5th in. So let's send the 5th in to attack these. So they're bouncing out again. 5th is coming in. Yep, they're in hyperspace now. And so if we can destroy, what we'll do is we'll have a bit of a look and see as soon as we start to arrive. Yeah, one of these just bounced out. Okay, the is under attack. The Fellow system. I'll just have a quick look and see what's actually happening through there. This is a mining ship which has been disabled, so the ghost ship is now heading off to attack those. Yep, that's okay. We'll just keep them where they are. And we'll go back to Roskiri. So yeah, still the 9th in through there. So we've got a couple of ships in that way. We're not seeing anything just yet. We need to get our ships close. Here we go. So we've got the Adil military junta has made peace with the Boscara devouring mass. Okay, that's the other Boscara group. Now the Adil military junta, what's that? The Mortlands. And so there's another group of Boscara. This is them as well down the bottom here. We don't know anything at all about them. We don't know much about these either. So we're just focused on our little group that we're sort of struggling with here. So we're now moving in. Ships all come in together. So we're still targeting this one here. So if I go to the 5th, you'll see it's targeting the Ergonite Chaos. Now we have a ghost ship that's just appeared. This is going to unfortunately get them to run. So we've got, these are the ships we actually ultimately want to get with the assault troops on board. All of these have got them on board. No, there's no generals on board these ships, but we'll just keep on coming forward. These are going to just keep on sort of coming up with our actual fleet. So another ghost ship has now appeared. You can see that these are just these are frigates, but they don't have great range, whereas our ships have got better range than their ships. So with the red that we see through there is actually the range of our pulse wave cannons. You can only just see it. I can't really get a clean vision on it really. But these guys, they do have a bit of a range there. Anyway, we'll just keep on sort of smashing our way through. Let's get rid of that. To the 5th. And we're just sort of randomly kicking these things. That's been disabled now. Hyperdrive is offline. It's been destroyed. So we're beelining for these other ships. Now they're starting to jump out of space, jump out of here. As they start to take damage. It's escaping. They're all going to be trying to jump. These ones with the extra troops are the ones that we really want to be getting to those. So I'm just going to keep this particular group. So the 5th will then just keep on going in against this particular attack. Another ghost ship. And we want to finish that one off as well. I don't know why that one was stopped there. It's hyperdrive offline, it's down as well. So that was good. We've still got these as well. So they're going in for an attack as well. So these are all part of the 9th Invasion Fleet. So this has been another good little run for us. There's no troops on board these. These were sort of sitting back. Actually, what's that one there? Yeah, that's still. They've been waiting for their ships to arrive. They've got some slow ships that are moving through as well. You can see where it's hardly making any difference, to what's going on. They've destroyed too many bases of ours. So that's the problem we actually have. They've only destroyed one of our military ships. We've destroyed now 13 of them and 14 troops, but it's not really having a big impact on the war score. So we need to do bigger things ultimately to sort of be able to affect this. Back in through here now, we've got the two different fleets that have now come back in. So we've got the this is the 4th Defence Force, which I'm thinking of keeping back here, and these have just been going in around doing what they're doing there. Yep, so we've got mining ships back that side. We do actually have, so the 4th I'm going to send here. So the 4th, at the moment it's got Roskiri 1 as its spaceport. I'm just going to go and tell it that its home base is now the Fellis Research Station. I'm going to put this one back to a defensive role, and the tactics are going to be 50M range. So we now have 30% fuel, 40% fuel as well. So we've got a few other fuel ranges there, but 50M range is fine. In fact, I might just make it the same location, which will then sort of look after anything in this little area. So they can just be there, and I'll just make sure that they are set to tight, which they are. That's good. So that's going to be, then they're set to auto to defend that one. The 3rd fleet is this one here, which is also home base is Roskiri 1, but we're going to now make this the home base for it, back out on this refueling station. It's now just been discovered by a navigator from the other Boscara group. So set the home base, and we'll set this one to defend here as well, and we'll set it to 50M as well. I'm happy enough with that. All right, so they'll move off automatically. So then now, if I go to the 5th, they're back here, still attacking. The 3rd is now going to be operating from this region of space. The 1st is back over here, and I'm going to set them to defend, but I'll set that one again just to a 50M range, just in around that particular region. That should do us, I think. So we'll unpause again. So the 1st attack force to prepare and attack the Urgite Nova. First attack. It's too far away. I'll say yes though. Why not? Is the 3rd still back here? While the 3rd fleet is still doing its repairs, it gives us a bit of respite, a bit of time to do other missions and things. Here we come. Out of the star. Okay, we've got a research breakthrough. So while salvaging an engine superstructure in the Cantriller system, we've made the following discovery: planetary energy weapons. So we've found technology that's given us a research breakthrough in these. So this is cool. If we go and have a look at what we've got with this. So this was where we found it in here. So we've got like a ship that's a space liner, just picking up. This is deviated off from doing different things, and is now picking up the loot that was left over. And we've now found stuff for this planetary energy weapons, which means we can start to build these on our planets if we can afford it. And in fact, we possibly could. And so Cantriller 4 would probably be a good candidate for this, just simply because it does seem to be targeted a little bit. And so that was, if we go back and have another look at this, planetary energy weapons is where? It was in here somewhere. Oh, no, it might be higher up. Should be in this, there it is. So it's a little bit further over actually, which is good. So this one here is, it costs 10,000 and then 500 per year to maintain. It's got gives a better bombardment resistance and ground attack resistance. It's a standoff weapon. damage 50, and at maximum range 32. Yeah, range is very, very long. So this essentially is a planetary beam defense. Yeah, I'm thinking for 500, why not? Let's go and throw that on to Cantrilla 4. So if we go to our facilities, and there it is there. So planetary beam defense, why not? Let's go and grab this one. We might even pop that on our home world. It's just going to help to defend it against different things that are coming back in. Now here comes it's still the 9th. They're moving it out into hyperspace. We missed the what we had to do there. So we'll do it at Roskiri 1 as well. Yeah, robotic troops we don't want. Okay, that was good. So we can finish off with that one. A useful addition just for our defences. Now they're offering to end the war. In exchange for the peace, however, we demand that you give up the following: the territory map, galaxy map, contact with an unknown empire, and Ura 5 mining station. No, we definitely don't want to give that up. So decline that. Even though our war score is not, like our war weariness is getting up there, we will hold on. Now we need to destroy this refueling station, which I can do whenever I feel like it, to be honest. It's going to halve well, not halve, it's going to help us a little bit. Let's send the 4th out there to do this particular war mission. Which one is it? It's the Lamnus 3 mining station, which is this one here. So let's go and attack that one. So we'll set them up to suggest missions for fleets within their engagement range. Yep, that's cool. So still get, and then we'll just go back to defend after that. So it has to jump a little bit out there to go and get it. What was the other one that we've got? Capture enemy research station in the Candrella system. Would be a bit difficult. Third fleet is still there. This is the one that we have to watch. Oh, now I've got a different number. The 8th Invasion Fleet is coming into Cantrella 4. So this has now bypassed us. If we have a bit of a look and just go to see where they actually are. Are they at Cantrella 4 yet? Hopefully not. No, they're not there. So where are they? Maybe they've bounced into here on the way through. Yeah, this is the 8th Invasion Fleet. If we zoom out, we can then go and pick one of these fleets. 8th Invasion Fleet. So the 8th Invasion Fleet is coming in now with 8 ships, and they've got 10 infantry and 3 armor. So this is a strong group. You can see that most of their small troop transports are struggling a little bit with fuel, but they're on their way. They're sort of now in deep space, heading towards Roskiri. But then they'll then bounce into. So we've just picked up this ship in through here, the Mighty Allegiance, which is an army transport. This looks to be a one of the Xenox ships that they happen to have picked up. And so this one has got like different engines, lots of armor. I'm assuming it's, yeah, look at the different large troop compartments. This thing alone is an absolute beast, but there's nothing on board it. The 5th is now moving, should be moving back. Attack the Immortal Marauder. Yeah, I'm not sure where it's heading off to. We'll just go back to protect the world again. Cantrilla 4. So we'll just go back into space over through here. So we've got this one under manual control at the moment, the 5th. So even though the others will bounce in, I think that this will then allow us to then wait for them as they arrive. And that one there is this is part of the 2nd Invasion Fleet. Moving into Roskiri. Yeah, where's my 6th fleet? Oh, they're back over here at Taff. Yeah, I'll keep them out there. And I really can't afford to do much else. The Daots have conquered Adurg in the Draco system, so they've now taken. There's still a couple of planets in here that are contentious. Yeah, one controls one moon, the other one controls the other moon. They're sharing that system. Okay, PS has redeemed. Got to get my traditional fuel tank. I think you already have it. Hang on, let's have a quick look. First, third. Okay, yeah, you don't have it. Otherwise, I would have named it in that one there. So we'll go back to the 3rd fleet. So PS, and we just was reading before that they've actually made them even more secure now. The various fuel tankers, so they don't end up being attacked as much as they used to. Hi, Mr. Jazz, how you going? Did I ever claim the Admiral? Good question. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And you're commanding from the Zaradin in the 3rd Fleet there. Henry is saying the lab cost in Empire of the Fading Suns, is it all is it for all labs or per lab? The game lacks a good economy overview since the budget lists only taxes and subtracts wages. I think it's just for other expenditures. I'm not sure, actually. Sorry, I really don't know. We hide with pride, says PS. Yes, I'm not sure about that one there, Tenru. Okay, here we go, here we go. Just come in and bounce in front of them. A lot of invasion fleets coming down into the Cantrella system. But we can control this. All right, here we go. We'll just return to the game. Got more system maps recovered. And we've got planetary research has now been done. So we've now got planetary governance. This is going to help enormously with our money. But we can't afford to build them just yet. So we need to save up before we can get any more. Which is in itself a little bit of a problem. They're moving back. Unknown mission. And they don't have any troops, so they're really a bit of a dead duck. Okay, so this should be the Fellas Research Station. So we've got even more now. We're getting reactor research back in through here as well. And I'm going to let this one go up to over 50% before I then, give it like before I buy it. Because if I can just let it, if they can do the crash research themselves, they'll end up possibly getting another scientist, which would be good. What's that doing for our science overall? Yeah, output is now 133. So we can still do more, but it's not bad. Now moving off. Except war mission. Now this one's going to require bombardment at their home world, which I'm not going to do. Not yet anyway, we're not geared up for that. When we get to 10,000, I'm going to invest at Roskiri. Might just talk a little bit about how the economy works. So I'm really just looking at that number at the moment. 9.8, nearly there. No, we've dropped off a bit. sometimes you can get very close to what you need and then just not quite get over the edge. There we go, 9-1, 9-3. Let's see where this is. Okay, this is in here. Show me. All right, so this big ship has come in. I really want to destroy this. So the 5th is now coming in to, this is the advance area of it. There is actually a few invasion ships coming in as well. That one's trying to escape. Just see if there's any, like this one, I would love to have gotten this ship myself. But we've been able to destroy most of these big old ancient ships that the Boscara did get hold of. So let's go and finish this one off. In fact, that one there is very close to being killed. Let's just keep it going. Okay, that one's not going to go anywhere. Yes, it can still go. No, it can't. Okay, 5th. Now we go after this one. Even though there's nothing on it, I want to make sure that they can't use this ship. Trying to jump away. Got away, unfortunately. That's the trouble when they're so powerful. Alright, now we'll just go after these guys. So the 5th again. It's got 3 on it. We'll take this one. And this one as well. Another pirate group encountered. Okay, that's part of what we had. Dismiss that. Ah, great. Here we go. So the Actarian Neurocore Ascendancy. We encountered a new empire in the Urdus. So this is in the Urdus system. This is what we wanted to find. But initial communications with the Actarians have been catastrophically bad. A poor translation of our standard greeting here. Blah blah blah. So we'll just dismiss that one. So there ultimately should become a little bit more friendly. We're going to decline that one and dismiss that. So what do we have in here? That's jumping away. It's part of the 8th invasion force, which is the one that we've currently got. 9th invasion force is down to just a handful of ships. So we've been able to push these. These haven't been difficult this session. So in the Urdus system, I'm thinking that these ultimately will be more important. So let's go to our characters. And we've got 3 ambassadors. We've got 1 ambassador of the Boscara. We want to keep them there. We want to keep another one at Upsilonus as well. But this other one that's transferring out, I'm going to change that one to... Actually, we don't know. We don't even know where the others are yet. Okay, no, we'll just have to wait. So if we have a look at the at where we are, they're displeased with us. This is again where we could actually try to befriend them. So what I'm going to with those, we've got to defend against them, but it's actually they're at war. Yes, they're at war here with who? With the Tikans. They're displeased with them. It's funny, yeah. They're displeased with them as well. So there's no actual treat. They haven't really had problems with the Boscara yet, but they're at war with this group in through here, which is interesting. What to do with them? I think I'll just leave it for now. I was thinking of changing this this defensive policy to one of more friendship. You've got to undermine them. And undermine them as well. We need a friend, and we don't know really much about when their research output is a lot more than us. They're a technocracy as well. I think we'll make this one manual, and we'll change this one to befriend. So we just like when we have an opportunity, we'll just go that way. I think. Actually, no, I'll put it back to auto. I'll just leave it on auto. That way, the AI can manage the diplomacy for me. As to what we then do, that little befriend or defend or whatever it is it's going to be will then sort of will dictate how our spies react to them. So we'll decline that treaty, of course. Come on, we need to get over 10,000. So the first is back there. They're pretty secure. It's only when the third leaves here that we're going to have to be a bit more problem. They're still technically repairing. Just for another group go through there. I'm thinking they're limping home. Okay, so there's another location there. Yeah, we keep on just popping in, seeing things happening around our system. Okay, so we've actually now gone a little way through with the ablative energy shields. So I'm not sure how the Boscara got those, but they got them nonetheless. Scanners, we're still just sort of kicking through these. The ablative energy shields will give us the Corvidian shield, so we're actually now a little bit further along with that. Yep, so we're getting close. What do they give us? Thoughtful Retreat Archives Vault. Where's that? Over here. So miles away. Oh, I shouldn't have spent the money. I should have kept on saving it. So I need the money to save money. I need to build something. Send us the attack force. Yeah, I'll just assign these missions now. When it asks to do these sorts of things, just to take out whatever's actually in here. We'll clean out because I don't think there's not really any great threat. Propose an immediate end. We're still only at -6. I'm going to decline that until we sort of do this war mission. Fourth Defence Force has been detected travelling towards. Now that's interesting. They can see us because of their long-range scanners, so they're actually now going to try to intercept us. But our defence force should be stronger than theirs. Seeing long-range sensors and hyper-deny are my favourite techs, so they changed the game. Yeah, hyper-deny I haven't really used, but I think it would be good to have that. It'd be helpful. Anyway, we're on our way to long-range sensors. It's going to take a long time, but we'll get there eventually. We'll get there next week. Maybe not, actually, with the amount of time that's going to take. It could be a couple of weeks before we end up with the all-important long-range scanners. So their fourth is still moving off. The third is still just sitting here now, still repairing. So there's still a ship there that's coming in for repair. I love this ambassador system where you get to see what's going on wherever the ambassador actually is, which is really quite nice. We're just cleaning out these ships. Okay, so this is at Ura 5. Yeah, so I'm going to accept this war mission because this is Ura 5 is on the border, and it is an important station. It's sort of like the halfway point between the two empires. It's in Boscara space, but this is actually the the one that we are defending that anyway with a very, very strong force. So when the third is done, they'll possibly come back out to try to clean this up, is what I would expect them to do. Hang on, the nebulas are turned off. I'll just turn the nebulas back on again, just so we can see them. Now this one here, what's going on there? There's something that lives here that we have to clean out. When the war finishes, I might just send the fourth down to deal with whatever that threat is. So Tenor is saying, I just did the math kind of. The lab cost is per lab. This isn't reflected in the budget prognosis, which is why you end up with a lower bank record in the next round. Yeah, so in Empire of the Fading Suns, each lab remembers its tech. If you lose a lab, so that makes sense actually. It would be per lab. Yep, that would make sense. Because if a lab is destroyed, you lose the tech that the lab actually researched, which is very, very cool. Such a great game, that one. I've got to play more of it. It's funny, like just chatting like with other YouTubers and stuff like that. The Empire of the Fading Suns has actually really captured people's imagination, even though it's such an old game. It's really, really awesome. Here we go. We've over 10,000. Build it at Roskiri, yes. So this is where the advisor is saying, hey, we can build this planetary administration center. Let me show you why this is important. So we'll, I've still got a little bit of time before we have to go. So if I go into what we're doing through here, at the at Roskiri, if you just have a look at the actual this is our main colony, and this is where we get most of our money comes from this particular one world. Most of the other worlds are drain our what we end up having. You can see through here, for example, that we end up with getting 22,000 per year from Roskiri 1. We end up with 3,500 at Cantrilla 4, and then we lose money at the 2 outposts with the Zentabia fluid, and also at Sadabari 1. So we're losing money there as well. And so this is the biggest drain that we have, nearly 3,000, 2,500. So we're looking at like 5, 6, 7, 8. Basically, we're looking at about that same amount of cash flow, negative cash flow, coming from those particular planets. So we need to get bonus income to overcome this. But the planetary, those planetary centers aren't going to help these, but they will help both of these planets once we get them. But the 22,000, let's have a look at Roskiri and open it up and have a bit of a look to see what's going on here. So we've got the big one we have is the game will automatically try to keep approval at around about 5%. And the way that they keep it there is to try to manipulate your tax rate. So when you've got like lots of development, if we go back to the development down through here, you'll sort of see we're getting plus 91% from different resources, which is growing. And so we end up with all these different resources that do come in. And for example, if we have a look at resource shortages and then have a look down at the bottom of the list, all of these luxury resources are what we want to have at the actual world. And so when we go down the bottom, we should have Zentabia fluid. Yeah, we haven't got enough of it, so we're asking for more of it to come in. And so Zentabia fluid is going to give us a big boost to colony development, colony happiness, and all these different sorts of things. So the colony development, which is what we get from luxury resources in population, so that one there, is going to essentially be a lot of what our revenue is. So the revenue that we end up generating on the world itself, and then the happiness that we end up having in the world can then affect our tax rate. So we can look at all the happiness things in through there. They're tired of the Empire's war, so we're going at -4 there. We're going to get more money as soon as the war finishes. We've got very high corruption, reduces our happiness by -9. So the corruption is a problem even just for happiness as well. And the current tax rate is too high at 41. But that's what's being used to balance everything out. And so the 33% is what's causing this -41 happiness, but that's to balance the approval at 5. So no matter if we make everything else, if that goes away and then we reduce the corruption, it just means we can tax at a higher rate and get more money. So what ends up happening is that based on development, like we've got 144% development through there, 143 is what's listing in through that side. We end up essentially getting with a total revenue on the world of 147,000. And so you can imagine if you end up starving a world of its luxury resources, essentially its development goes down, which means that its revenue goes down. So even if you don't do anything to the world, eventually you can starve it of its of its cash reserves. Now you don't want to do that to a small world. You only do it to big capital worlds. But in this case, we then have got corruption of 48%, which is really, really high. That means that there's 71,000, nearly half of what we end up generating on the world is completely wasted. So we have to address this big corruption problem we actually have on this particular world. So this is a major, major concern. Base revenue then, what we have left is 75,000. We then get to tax that. So, sorry, the gross tax revenue is 33% of that, which is 24,000. And then we end up with support costs essentially for the world of 2,000. So the net tax revenue we get from this world is 22,844, which we see here. So that's how that one works. If we can reduce the corruption, it's going to help with the happiness, and it's also going to mean that we've got a bigger pool here to play with. And that's what we need to be doing. So we need to find ways to do that. When we go down to planetary facilities, these are what we've built on the actual planet itself, and we do actually have a planetary palace here, which does give us, it gives us +5 happiness. That's really all we end up getting there. But we now actually have this this planetary administration center, and so we get different bonuses there. We get a +1% appearance chance for ambassadors, and we get +2% leader quality by putting this administration center in. But importantly, what we end up getting is we get the 5% colony happiness. Then we get a +10% colony corruption reduction, which means that our essentially 10% of the corruption goes down, which can be a lot of money. So this could actually mean that we end up getting rid of that cash flow negative. We also then end up getting better defense and better colony development. So it helps enormously with these big worlds. And so definitely want to get it on this world. So I'm just going to go and click it on there. So that's now going to be built on that particular world. If I go back to Cantrilla 4, which is my other candidate, we've got nearly 1 billion population here. And so you can see through there, the corruption here is nowhere near as bad. The reason the corruption is so bad here is because maximum population is 5 billion and our current population is 4 billion basically. So we're overcrowded is really what's happening on our home world. Cantrilla 4, we can get up to 7 billion and we've only got 1 billion really. And we actually do have, we've also got some Xenox here as well, which is fine. But that's sort of where the corruption here also we'd end up with 34,000. Take off 10% of that reduction. Essentially, we're going to end up with getting just a little bit more through here. It's still worth it because it's still going to be worth more than the 500 upkeep. But I can't afford it now because I've just spent that. But anyway, that's sort of how that's why getting those. That's why I always go for those early because they make such a massive difference. It's saying this is why I love playing as a hive mind, much lower corruption. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, the corruption is really, really, really big. So I'll just go and right click on that one because we've now done it anyway. All right, let's continue on. They're now coming in to do their attack. I'm just going to grab myself a drink of water. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to pause this because I do need to watch this one. My soda stream is running out of gas. I'll have to put another gas canister in it. Yeah, so Pierce is saying people do tend to be a lot less corrupt and you take away that pesky free will. And also, look, we're getting other negatives as well. Like if we go back to our government type, our government is a monarchy, and so we end up with we end up with an extra negative 10%. So we end up with an extra 10% chucked on the top of the corruption just because of the government type. We can compare this with other government types. We only have a ability between feudalism and republic. If we go to feudalism and have a bit of a look at this one as well, the colony corruption stays the same. If we go to republic, the colony corruption would also then help us. So this is where you may think, okay, look, at the moment I'm doing pretty well with my war weariness because we are a monarchy. If we went the other way, this would be blowing out in this instance. So they all play very, very differently with the way that they sort of do work. But I'm happy to stay as a monarchy. I tend not to change those aspects of the game, but we'll see when that does kick in. We should see this negative be fairly dramatically impacted. It might take a year to build this. In fact, we can just leave it there and have a bit of a look and see what actually happens to it when it does get built. It's 12% at the moment. They're building it now. That's moving off further. Now, we've got the first defence force. Here we go. So now the first defence force is moving in to defend this particular location. And so that's a much bigger group than I thought it was going to be. First Defence Force. Yeah, it's got a total power there of 1167. Have they got any others? They've got a lot of ships here. I'll just zoom out again. We've also got the 7th Defence Force there as well. That's what I thought we'd sort of be going up against, but the 4th is actually reasonably... the 1st is reasonably powerful. It does have a destroyer. And this is another one of these old ancient ships that they picked up. Now this is one of these things. Do we want to continue with this fight or not? This thing has got an extremely long range. We're going in to try to destroy this thing, but I don't want to be wasting any ships at all. So our 4th is this isn't going to work. Then they've got lots of frigates as well. So this is our 4th is rated at about the same as theirs overall. But we don't have the ability to. I mean, we'd be able to wipe out the others, but this big destroyer, we're not going to be able to do much to it, I don't think. As much as I would like to. And we know that there's another defence fleet also on its way, because we were told by our ambassador when it was leaving their territory. When we were here, their long-range scanners picked it up, and then the ambassador reported that it was going in to intercept this particular fleet. They sort of saw what we were attacking. So they've already got defence there, and they've got more on the way. I think we'll actually just leave this and move back away home. So we're just going to stop what we're doing, and we're still set to defend. I'm just going to go back to the Fellas system, and just go back here. I don't have a refueling station in here. Now their home base is Roskiri 1. I'll just tell them to go and refuel there. That way at least we then turn around. Well, actually, no, I might just get them to refuel over here. Because that is an actual refueling base. That will then still keep the defensive role with that particular fleet. And we'll just go across that region of space. Now we also have this one as well. What is that? Just a mining station around a continental world. Now that's actually an area that we were thinking of settling at some point, but we need to get on top of our economy really before we can do that. So in this case, they're going to turn around. Nothing much there. Okay, we're out of there. So we're out of that particular location. Because I've got the long-range scanners, and we'll get them eventually, but yeah, we'll just wait. Yeah, we've got more coming in through here. Now the 8th invasion is coming back again. It's moving to controller, to the actual system itself. It still has 5 infantry and 3 armor. They're moving to the actual, to the star. I'll grab the 5th and tell them to meet it there. Oh no, it is going after the 8th, so it's actually on its way anyway. I'll just let it do its thing. %, now. And so we should see this sort of -8, -9 type number drop a little bit once we get this planetary administration center built. We're seeing like the ruins mechanic of Emperor of the Fading Sun, so I got a dreadnought out of it, which reminded me of Distant Worlds 2 and their ship graveyard. Yeah, it's very good actually, very good. Plus, like I really like the random planets. Like some of the planets aren't random, and some of them are. It's a good balance. Who's that? So they're back in there in that system. Okay, the Ikaru, where's that? Way over here. Okay, the Datanui anthropods, these are the Gizarians, they're losing planets, which is actually interesting. Now, they're offering to end the war again, and I really am at a position where I could do this one. So, offers to end our war. We propose an immediate end to the war between us in exchange for this peace. However, we demand that you give them territory, general, contact, URA 5, research project, Heracross, fever cure. No, decline. But they're starting to at least ask for peace. Now, they won't stay at peace for long. We will eventually have to completely just dominate them. We're getting close to that, to be honest, with the 3 big fleets that we have. If I can coordinate those 3 fleets and just leave a couple of defence fleets, just have to get on top of our money for a little bit. That will then, and I think we'll call this to a close when we do get that this facility. It's now at 72%. Just leave it there so we can sort of see what's going on around around everywhere. So we're at 48.7 at the moment. Sorry, I'm on pause. I'll just unpause. So 47.8, 48.7. So we should see this drop a fair bit. So remember, like, 11 Strike Force is going to be attacking Roskiri 3. Okay, so I'm now going to have to drop that. I'll come back to that one in just a minute. Show me. So this one here, we've got the... now this is a Strike Force. A Strike Force is not very powerful. And so then they're moving across there. So if we just go back so we can sort of pick them up. 9, 12. So our defence force can sort of look after these if we had defence force. We don't actually have one. All we've got here is the 5th. So the 5th will should now go off and is that going to attack? Yeah, it wants to attack the 11th Strike Force. Let's just let it do its thing. Okay, the third fleet. Here we go. This is their big fleet. So this is travelling towards the Markeb 1 mining station. Let's have a look and see where that actually is. Where is Markeb 1? Okay. So they've now left home, and we can see them there. They've now moved off to the Amadiski system, which I'm assuming is a refueling station for them. Yeah, we can see Caslon in the list there, second in the list. So the third fleet is has now done what it's doing. It will then move down to that particular location. So it's going to move there, probably refuel, and then move down to attack Markeb. Now, if I do grab the third fleet, see how the fuel almost runs out at that point. So what it's trying to do here is to actually fuel up as close as it can. And we've taken the reason we took Ura so that they couldn't refuel there. So they could refuel at either one of these two locations. If we have a quick look at the resources, it's sort of funny. Like we talk about the game being complex. What the game does is complex, but what the game itself is not all that complex. We can see through there. There's this refueling station here at Eagle's Nest is actually part of the pirates, so they may not have refueling rights with the others. So Markeb, we do want to actually go there and be there before they arrive. So I could possibly send my first to go and intercept them, and then try to sort of dominate that particular attack. So with my first fleet, I'm going to tell them to go across to the Markeb system, because they'll have to go there, refuel, and then come down and do their attack. So let's go to the Markeb. It was the Markeb 1 mining station. So I'll just go and set that as the home base. It's set for defense. I'll just go and change its 50m range is fine. So I'm just going to pop that one there, which means that they will be sitting there waiting for them when they arrive. And so the reason we know that that's happening is because we've got an ambassador on their homeworld. And so it's currently at their homeworld getting ready to leave. And so our ambassador in through here, Ambassador Ocean Yektus, has actually then gone and told us that, okay, look, they're leaving. They're leaving on their way, and their plan of attack is to actually reach that mining station. That's their actual goal. And so that's their major fleet. If we can destroy that fleet completely, that would be awesome. The fact that they've now left as well does open up for my other bigger fleets to start to play a bigger role in the actual galaxy. So hi Hoffman, how are you going? Hope that all makes sense. We'll just go and leave that one there. But we've taken their refueling stations from the border, and so it's pushing them further back. And so this is what I love about this game. Like it's the objectives are not go and take their worlds. It is for them because that's what they do. But for us, it's the next objective for us may be to take this refueling station, and then maybe we even get to their home world at that point, and we use this as a staging post with two of our big fleets to really dominate them. But we need our money. Oh, here we go. We've got the next 10,000. Let's just go across into the Cantrala system and get it. I think it's just viable for us to get another one of these planetary administration centers here. Yeah, I'm just going to go and grab that one as well. We'll have a quick look at Riskiri before we get going. Where is it? Here it is. Running at 81%. So I could even send my third fleet. Now we've now lost sight of them. We no longer know where they are. And so the reason they want Ura again is because it gives them an easier run into our systems. These should be part of the 5th. Oh, it's only 2 ships have gone in. Let's get the whole 5th to go after them. I don't know where the rest of them are. couple of injured ships there. Alright, we'll just keep them defending that. Oh, look at the money drop. Okay, so we may have got this one built now. Yep, Roskiri has gone up by a fair amount. So you can see there it's dropped from 48 to 45. We now have the Planetary Administration Centre. We've got more happiness. Our tax rate can go up a little bit as well. So we're taxing more. So that corruption reduction has now kicked in with where it's actually it's sort of negated like it was. Like if we had, it's about 5% essentially is what it's taking, even though it says 10, it's actually about 5. So it still means more money. So it's still worth doing. Like it's and we can go. There's another tech as well we can ultimately get to get system governance. And that one there, research threshold there. So we've got. Why can't we get that? Oh, we can't afford it. That's why, because we don't have the money. It's fine. We've got other things to do anyway. And the first attack force was supposed to be moving back into there, so I'm not sure why it's doing this. I'll just grab this one. Is that the one? Was it the third? No, the third stays where it is at Ura 5. The first is back. Yeah, it's going back to the Albadar 1 mining station. The fifth is Cantrilla 4. So, what was I doing with the third? The third should be moving across to this station. And I'll just get it to go and refuel there. So we definitely want to be taking on... Oh, that's the third. No, the third we want to stay back there, sorry. I'm screwing this up. The third stays there. And that's going to be your home base. Hang on, the third is... Yep, that's okay. Refuel there, that's alright. That's defend there, at Rura 5. So what's the first doing? There's more ships in here. That's the invasion fleet again. Not that we can do much. Like they're not really a threat at this stage. So the first attack force, we want to go to Markeb. And refuel at that location, and also get that to be its home base for a little while. And then the fifth is still coming back in to attack. Strike force there. Yeah, still have invasion capabilities here. Let's get out of here. Yeah, the fifth is sort of yeah, it's not really staying together. They're just sending what they think that they need. So they moved away. They took a bit of damage. Those ships appearing. Trying to escape. Oh, he just keeps on getting away. Let's get a bit more text now. Last 3 is talking about Homeworld 3 and Kurosami saying biggest gaming disappointment in a long fan. It was a long time fan of the Homeworld games. Yeah, it was pretty bad, wasn't it? Come on, guys. 5th, come on. Get your act together. Weariness is going. Now they've actually done a bit more here. Let's keep on moving around into cleaning out what we can from in these. We need to refuel, like repair as well. Where's that one? Oh, way over here. So they've actually got that world back. Just go in with the ships that are still available and we'll just get these repaired. These have just been going in piecemeal, which isn't good. Urban Strike Force. Again, I don't think we have to really worry too much about it. Seems to just be able to jump without moving. Sound's turned off for some reason. Why are we keep on zipping around the place actually with that? It seems to sort of just appear at different locations. It's like we're in deep space, but we're not. We're actually just inside that system. Often in deep space it zips around all over the place. Okay, the Ardil military junta has declared war on the Boscara devouring mass. That's the other Boscara group. It's not our group. Well, let's get the 5th and just tell them to refuel and repair Cantrella 4. Something happening with the range of the units, and I don't like what this is doing. They're splitting the ships up. Just sort of keep it so that we're trying to keep everything consistent. I'm not sure why they're sort of splitting off smaller groups. What the hell is the first doing back there? What's going on here? Automate the selection of home bases and engagement ranges for defence fleets, or control this manually, please. That's what's going on there. Now we've left the Markeb system again, just as their forces will be arriving. So the first, we told them that your role is not to go back there, even though that's a better position for you generally, but right now you need to be here. This is where you need to be. So that's where the automation, the changes with the automation have actually just meant that they changed their home base, which means they're going back to defend that home base. I'm going to tell them to go back and refuel there. So hopefully we get back in time. I mean, they've still got a little way to go, so hopefully that will be okay with what we end up having. We've still got other groups coming back in through here. Not very many. These are just these stragglers from where things are sort of going. Fourth is now coming back. They must have got a war score. Yeah, mission war score of 50k for them for something that they did. I'm not sure what that would be. I don't know what that is. Wartaff 3, the Alpha Bandits, show me. We do have a defence group in through here. Don't think we have to worry too much about that one. Yeah, there's a pirate ship there, a fleet destroyer, but we actually have our group coming in. So this is the 6th. So we're travelling faster. Okay, now show me this one, because we don't actually have anyone here. So this is another strike force. Okay, so they're coming in thick and fast everywhere now. Just missed that one, that pirate attack. So we've dropped out of the Fellas system. I think I'm going to do the 4th and get them to go back to Fellas. Again, the game has been changing what we select because of that, because of what we had there. We're just going to go back to guard that one, so I'll just move that one back, and then I'll change it back to auto defend as well. So we need to just have a force in here as well. We really can't afford to be losing that research station. We might just watch what happens in here. The research stations can defend themselves a little bit, but there's a lot of ships coming in here, and they've got some powerful ships. Yep, no, we're in trouble here. Big trouble. 3rd Fleet. Here we go. So this is now arriving. It's now bypassing here. It's on its bounce through. The 3rd is on its way. So it will be arriving very, very soon. And our 1st is now too far away. Damn it, game, damn it. With it moving stuff around for me, and that's those defensive forces, it's great that it does it, but I don't need it right now. It's actually now become a problem. We're on our way, so I think we'll still be here just in time. We're going to lose this research station because these guys just keep on moving around all over the place. I don't think we've got anyone at the Fellas research station. Oh, it's gone. Yeah, that's fine. Let's make sure there's no scientist. Yep, that's okay. Yep, that's all right. There's no escape pods there. Yeah, so we have to go back and reset this again. That's going to give them a big boost. Yeah, I think as soon as we can finish this war, the better. And now this group, we now need to go back and rebuild again. Cannot afford it. Yeah, we don't have enough money at the moment. Okay, they're offering to end the war. I'm still going to decline that because I still think that we can get on top of this. But I pretty much have run out of time, guys, so I'm going to have to call it quits here, I think, with us sort of under big assault by the Boscara. 10th Fleet. We haven't seen this one before. What's this one doing? Yakanui. Right, so here's another fleet. Now, how big's this? This is a big fleet again. Where are they located? They're all over the place. Yeah, they're coming through thick and fast. Got lots of fuel. Okay, well, I'm going to leave it here where there's lots and lots of stuff happening. So, yeah, we'll leave it for another week, and then we'll come back and try to fix this problem that we have. So I wasn't expecting another attack fleet. I thought the 3rd was all that they really had. But the 10th is another one that they've had in our territory. We really need these long-range scanners. Really need them desperately. That's the key to everything at this stage, so that we can sort of see how we go. Anyway, I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next week if you're here for Distant Worlds, and otherwise I'll be back again tomorrow with a. I think I'll be showing the new Commandos game tomorrow, so we'll take it from there. Thanks for watching.